and show you ratings and reviews. But now, we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
The early game.
Bill Gunter.
6:52 on a Saturday.
So, hey, real quick, while Bill's looking at the calendar, did you see that Aaliyah Boston was named WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week?
I did not.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen.
Kind of
Of
impressive.
course, right now I couldn't tell you what day it is with a calendar in front of me. I've said Tuesday. I just said Saturday.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know.
107.5 The Game.
And we're back. The whole family is back together. Jen's back. I'm back. Preston just had the weekend off, but he's back. We're back. We're back. We're back. And we will get you through the next about 3 weeks or so before one more big vacation. At least for me, I can't speak for Preston or Jen, but we'll get you through the next 3 weeks before we hit one more big vacation. But Preston, Jen, I feel like this is kind of coming when you put the 4th of July in the middle of the week, almost the middle of the week, last Tuesday. You get a lot of people who take their vacations because they can kind of wrap in the weekend and then just naturally throw in Monday, and then you have Tuesday off, and you just say, okay, kind of like I did, I'm going to take the rest of the week off. This is where I feel like we start to turn the corner just a tad and start to bear down into football season. And I got a football question about South Carolina I'll ask you today. But I feel like this is where we start now to ramp up a little bit.
Yeah, this is when it starts to feel like it's going downhill now. The summer is starting to slip out of your fingers like sands of the hourglass. It's like, oh, man, it's getting close. It's getting close. And every day you get a little bit closer to August. And once August is here, it's like, oh, man, it's over.
Well, a week from today, I'll be in Nashville. We'll get SEC Media Days up and running next Monday morning. You and Jen will be doing it at 6 a.m. I'll be doing it at the lovely hour of 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
There will be sufficient whining, I can promise you.
I can guarantee that is the guarantee of the year. That I have not checked into. I am told.
You need to find out about your coffee.
I am told that the accommodations are set properly, that I will just have to come out of the room, get out of the room, elevator it down, and walk into whatever ballroom or wherever they have us. Last year was at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. So last year, because it was a separate building, a separate entity, I was locked out on the first morning. Like, they didn't have somebody there to let me in. And I think Patrick might have started the program or whatever. It took a minute to get in. We'll see. There's been some interesting times because, typically speaking, because we're a morning show, because if you start doing it at 5 a.m. like that, typically speaking, we are the very first radio show to go off from SEC Media Day. We set the record with that, I think, 3 or 4 consecutive years in Birmingham.
You mean there's not a bunch of people getting up there, crowding the doors at 5 o'clock in the morning?
You'd be shocked.
Not if Saban's not due.
No, that's really only in Birmingham. There will be Alabama fans that will be there. I don't know how the setup will be a week from today. I don't know what the exact setup like in Birmingham. You never went. You never got to go, did you? Did you ever hear stories from the guys who came back that day who made that trip with Lou Holtz?
Well, yeah. I told this story last week, and I don't know if you're familiar with George Goss. He was one of the ones that went in 2004. Well, I haven't heard George. I've known George for 20 years now. I don't know if I've heard George say 20 words ever. And so the idea that they would take this dude who does not talk, who is mostly gestures, points, motions. George is one of the nicest dudes I've ever met. Just doesn't have a lot to say for a long occasion. So the idea that the staff was like, yeah, we want to take you, George, to media day to represent the team. I still haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about going to SEC Media Day. Like, who are you looking to take? Like, do you want to take? I'm kind of assuming that Spencer Rattler will go.
That makes sense.
I'm assuming DeCarrion Joyner will go.
Ooh, a repeat.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have back-to-back SEC?
I don't know. Be like, hey guys, I'm back.
Or maybe this year you take Juice Wells instead.
That sounds like it might be right.
You take Juice Wells instead. And then defensively, maybe Alex Huntley seems to be. Or do you take
that's a solid pick.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick. Alex will do well in front of the media. He'll represent the program well and speak very properly and everything like that. That might be a solid pick.
803-404-6100. It was a rain shortened Atlanta race last night. The last time we all convened, we were on the third. Actually, was the last time we were all together. We made some NASCAR picks. Well, guess what? Kerry Tharp last night gets a rain shortened victory as William Byron picks up the win in NASCAR. I hate to admit this, but I've already forgotten who won. Oh, that's right. The Chicago race. That's right, the Chicago race. We've got to get Jen's take on the Chicago race. There's a reason I forgot who won the Chicago race a week ago. We got to get Jen's. Jen took the True Kid summer vacation. She actually went somewhere, did something, went to an event. I just stayed around the house and hung out. So we'll get Jen's take on that coming up here in just a little while. But that was last night, William Byron getting the victory. The other thing I want to talk a little bit about this morning is almost a coaches gone crazy weekend. I think I feel for Pat Fitzgerald. The Bob Huggins story. Also, Bob Huggins, apparently because of a negotiated buyout after the radio incident, has basically decided, wait, I need money. I might have some legal costs I got to cover. No, I'm still employed by West Virginia. I never officially resigned.
Oh, Huggy Bear. I don't. I saw some of the details of this most recent story come out, and I thought I was reading it incorrectly. Because apparently he's saying that, no, I didn't leave, and he forced me out. And all of it goes back to Huggy Bear. Nobody forced you to do any of the things that you've done to this point. This was all your doing. There's nobody made you do anything to this point.
Yeah, the details on this, the more that has come out about it's now turning into the just Bob Huggins went on a bender on a day.
Yes.
Like just went on a full on bender.
Yes.
And is now like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's either that or he's saying, I didn't do anything out of the ordinary for me. You guys are acting like.
Also, and we'll talk about this as the whole story, but I think Bob Huggins' daughter might have made the best excuse I've ever heard, or worst. I don't know.
We'll get into that.
It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal excuse.
It's the Bob Huggins story is crazy. The Pat Fitzgerald story has ramped up. I don't know what to make of this Pat Fitzgerald story up at Northwestern now, as Northwestern is going to reconsider Pat Fitzgerald's penalty amid the hazing probe. This is Pat Fitzgerald, to me, a beacon of honesty. Like, maybe it's because Northwestern, we're like, you're not cheating at Northwestern, and Pat Fitzgerald had options to go other places, and Northwestern is very difficult to win in football because of academic standards. Jen, how familiar? I don't know how familiar Jen is with Northwestern, like in terms of where you grew up, and obviously you were in Chicago last weekend. How familiar are you with the campus of Northwestern and the school itself and everything?
A little bit. I mean, it's north of us, and my dad had to have surgery up at a hospital up there, so I remember going past it every day for about a week. But I know the one part is kind of along the water, and that's beautiful. That whole area is pretty, kind of a charming downtown, but I'm a little familiar with the campus.
How familiar are you, Preston, with Northwestern football? When I say Northwestern football, what instantly comes to mind?
Purple.
Okay. There you go.
Purple. Yep. That's what comes to mind with Northwestern football. As far as Northwestern as a school, lawyers, smart people, expensive. Chicago.
Well, we will get into all. I mean, again, coaches gone wild this weekend. We'll get into that. We got to get into Jen's Chicago All-Star, Chicago race that was fascinating. Did you get into much of the Chicago NASCAR race?
I saw a very huge pileup on the corner. I did see a huge pileup.
A couple of them happened right past us. We
Did it
missed
really?
them. You know, we saw them going in.
I saw a huge pileup.
Yeah, Jen was trying to take down some of the drivers that weren't her. She called multiple pileups there. The fascinating thing was, I think it was turn 6 with the tires. They had the tire barricade.
Yeah.
And was it Noah
Gregson
just couldn't stop driving into the tires and
I think
getting
Truex had a little trouble with that too. He ended up in a couple times.
So yeah, we'll get into that, and we'll get into a little bit of South Carolina football discussion. My question this morning, and I'll throw out 4 options for you. I'll put it on Twitter, and we'll get into it. What concerns you the most? What concerns you the most for South Carolina football this season? Stopping the run, new offensive coordinator. Those are 2 that I've come up with. Running game, number 3. Maybe we'll find a 4th as well. We'll put that on Twitter, and maybe Threads. Have you 2 started Threads yet?
I have not, because you don't like any social media platforms. Why would you jump on another one?
Because I'm an idiot.
Clearly,
Not gonna happen. This is it. If Elon can't figure out a way to make this work, I'm done.
I'm not sure I can pull up Threads on my computer. I know I've got an app on my phone.
So can we do this live so I can actually see it in real?
I'll show
Okay.
you. We'll
it's
do
kind
that.
of tied into. It's from the Facebook Meta people, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and if,
Yeah.
basically, I learned that if you can log in via like your Instagram credentials, but if say you're like, I think I'm not going to do Threads, I'm going to cancel it. You can't cancel your account unless you delete your Instagram account.
Yeah, a battle of the two solid citizens,
Oh, yeah,
Mark
right.
Zuckerberg and Elon Musk.
Well, are they really supposed to fight?
I hope so.
Like,
That'd be-
that's not real, right?
I don't-
This is like
I hope so.
an internet. We're creating
I hope-
this.
man, I would.
All right.
That'd be wonderful.
A lot to get to this morning. A lot that we will get to. Coaches, questions for football, SEC Media Day a week away, Jen's vacation. There's a lot to do this morning. You listen to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, it's me again with another update. We've got our bleeping main transmitter back. That over the top. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna ratchet it down a hair. That means you can get back to hearing 107.5 The Game the way you used to. But feel free to continue using the 107.5 The Game app. Either way, no charge whatsoever. We also want to say thank you for your patience and your understanding as we went through all this. I mean, I almost cussed. I almost lost it as we went through this technical ordeal. I can only imagine how you felt. Seriously, we appreciate you, our loyal listener, from your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Summer, you've probably noticed, because the afternoons, they've been warm. You've probably now noticed that summer is officially here, and I hope your air conditioner is working absolutely fantastic, because I've been telling you for months that summer was coming. It sounded like an old television show you may be familiar with. This time it was just the summer is just around the corner. Well, now it's here, and I hope you are enjoying it. But I hope you're doing so with the help of a nice air conditioner taking care of you. If not, it's time to call AAA Heating and Air. 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. With the help of the Inflation Reduction Act, you could save up to $5,300 right now by calling the Comfort Advisors at AAA Heating and Air. So if you've had some issues last week, you've got something that's a little concerning, it's time to get a brand new heating and air unit installed at your house, and AAA Heating and Air can help save you a whole lot of money. Make the phone call today, 803-677-1500. And again, learn how you could save up to $5,300 with a brand new heating and air unit. On top of that, AAA Heating and Air guarantees financing, and they'll offer you a 15-year parts and labor warranty to make sure that heating and air unit continues to work properly. So call him today. Tell him Bill Gunner sent you. 803-677-1500. That's AAA Heating and Air. Call him today. And again, tell him you're right here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
This Boomer Esiason with CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. The NBA is coming to Vegas. The league's inaugural 30-team in-season tournament will culminate in Sin City on December 7th and 9th. Adam Silver hopes the NBA Cup will spice up the normally dreary early regular season. I'm Boomer Esiason.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. In the morning, Taco Bell keeps it toned down and simple, like the breakfast crunch wrap with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just delicious. Taco Bell breakfast. Served until 11 a.m.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
At the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking with savings on top brand appliances like a new LG CounterDepth Max refrigerator with ultra large capacity on the inside and a seamless look on the outside, or an LG oven with built-in air fryer for crispier, healthier cooking. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Final days to get special buy savings plus up to $1,000 off select kitchen appliances like this exclusive LG kitchen package at the Home Depot. Ends July 12th.
Hey, baseball fans, Jay Phillips here for my good friends at Integrated Media. Nothing beats being at the ballpark, but when you can't be there, you can still enjoy America's pastime outside watching the game. How, you ask? With my good friends at Integrated Media. Call 803-948-8327 and let the guys install an amazing outdoor home theater system so you can enjoy the weather here in South Carolina and never miss a minute of the action. These beautiful Samsung Terrace TVs are meant to be outside. So are the Sunbright televisions. You couple them with the Sonos built-in wireless outdoor speakers. You've got year-round entertainment that looks and sounds just like it does inside. They can even install an in-ground subwoofer. You can thump through the neighborhood and be the envy of everybody all around you. 803-948-8327. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy your pool. Enjoy your deck. Enjoy your favorite teams, all with our good friends at Integrated Media.
Did you hear? South Carolina Department of Corrections has huge pay raises for officers. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years old and have a high school diploma or GED. Visit joinscdc.com to apply. Sponsored by South Carolina Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
No major slowdowns or accidents to report of as of right now. We could see some rain coming in this morning, maybe a couple thunder showers around lunchtime before that clears out. We are looking for a high today of about 83. Then it warms back up for the next few days. 92 tomorrow, 94 on Wednesday. But right now, a little bit overcast, and it's 74 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Eight zero 404-6100. How you can be a part of the program this morning. Again, a lot happening over the last few days. And Preston, we do need to kind of just mention some sad news happening last week as Nikki McCrae Pinson, former basketball coach here at the University of South Carolina, well known in the basketball world, passing away at the age of 51. The standout college career at the University of Tennessee, won two Olympic medals, two Olympic gold medals, and played 9 years in the WNBA. Obviously, we knew her here as an assistant coach. I don't know if you had a chance to interact with her or get to know her all that well, but certainly some sad news there. Announced that she was just entering her second season as assistant coach at Rutgers, but obviously some very sad news there over the weekend.
Man.
Just 51 years of age.
It's always a tragedy, man. But we've all been affected by cancer, breast cancer at some point, even as men. Obviously, we've had women in our lives that have been affected by it. It's not anything. It's something that we can all relate to. And unfortunately, this was Nikki's time. So it's really, really sad situation. But unfortunately, we'll all probably be touched by this at some point in our lives.
So thoughts and prayers with her family, again, as she passed on Friday, or was announced, I guess, or brought public on Friday with her passing. But thoughts and prayers with her. So some sad news there from kind of the weekend there. And again, just part of a lot of stuff that kind of occurred. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. Let's go out to the Love Chevy phone lines. Gamecock Larry wants to weigh in this morning. Gamecock Larry, how you feeling so far?
I'm feeling pretty good, Bill. Good morning, Jim, Bill, and Preston and Gamecock Nation. But, Bill, you just got off vacation and already started talking about taking another one. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Your buddy Boot that told me come by here one day last week and told me something about you. I said, no, you wrong. I took up for you. He said he had I don't believe this, but he said he had a calendar and said every day since the last wait a minute. He said every day last year, 2022, he marked down on that calendar the day that Bill was on vacation or took off. And he told me that you had a total of 54 days off.
Not counting Saturdays and Sundays?
I said, there ain't no way he had 54 days off. I said, they only give you 30 days off a year in the Army. And a lot of times you don't even get them 30. But I took up for you, buddy. I told him. I said, no, you don't keep count of Bill's holidays. Bill's there when he's supposed to be there. Bill's there. And Jennifer keeps him straight. And they run that program number one. But I took up for you, buddy. I just want to, now let's get off all this food talking. Let's start talking a little bit of sports, okay? But I just want to welcome everybody back. I'm glad to have you back. Man, I almost went crazy, but the good Lord kept me kind of straight. Overdosed on Novolog again. That's all right. Everybody's going to be okay. But I'm glad to have you back, and that's about all we got to say. It was funny, but it I know you ain't been on no 54 days. You don't know. You do an outstanding job. Glad to have you. Go. Let me get off here before I get up, messed up, and say something I ain't supposed to say. I love you, buddy. Go Bill and go Gamecocks. I'll tell you later.
I think Root Hog needs a hobby.
Root Hog's tracking Bill's days.
I will honestly say I know Bill hasn't been out that much.
Nah, yeah. I'm making up for the days last year that I didn't take off. I can promise you that, though. We're going to make up for a lack of days off last year. 803-404-6100. All right, Preston. So next week at this time, I'll be trying to navigate 5:27 a.m. Central Time. You and Jen will be on Eastern Time. But we will really, as Gamecock Larry will be thrilled to know, we'll really be starting to get into things. Now, Shane Beamer doesn't speak until Thursday. Doesn't mean we can't start talking a little bit about it. So my question to you this morning is I put up this poll question here on Twitter. 1 week from SEC Media Days in Nashville. So what is right now your biggest concern for South Carolina football? Now, you can specifically talk to two of these. A, stopping the run. B, running the football. Those are two major questions. New offensive coordinator is number 3. I'm sure there's a fourth, and maybe we can put, what is your fourth? But right now, stopping the run for South Carolina, we'll talk more about this coming up in the next segment, but your take on that, I kind of want to hear, because we didn't do the show together last year. I don't feel like at times we discussed the fact that South Carolina struggled to stop the run from the opponent.
Yeah, that was very clear. The statistics prove it, and it backs it up. Obviously, there's been turnover with the interior defensive line coach, with an old coach leaving, new coach coming in. There's been turnover with players. What does that mean? I don't know. Because what we now have to try and figure out and parse out, was it based on the coaching with Jimmy Lindsey? Was that a big part of the reason why the run was not being stopped? Is it the scheme that is the reason why it's not being stopped? Was it the players? Was it the reason why it's not being stopped? There could be some mix of all three, 33% all third. I don't know, but it is a huge problem because there are questions at each one of those junctures. We have new players, had somebody who's a high NFL draft pick who's no longer there. Think about it. Not being able to stop the run with a highly talented NFL draft pick playing that position is not good. None of the players coming back project to be as good as Zach Pickens was. So they're already going to be limited as far as quote-unquote talent inside. But that might be covered up by another coach coming in and being able to coach them through those issues and having them playing better as a unit. But none of that actually matters if we're running the same scheme and we find out that the actual scheme is the reason why they're not stopping the run. So there's a great amount of questions about whether or not we'll be able to stop the run again.
That to me, and the poll question is up. You can go to on Twitter. I'm still using Twitter, but I also have Threads now. I'll see if I can figure out. But but on Twitter at Will WIL Gunter GUNTER. I came up 1 week. This is the poll question. You can weigh in this morning on Twitter, or you can weigh in via the Firehouse Substakes line. 1 week from SEC Media Days in Nashville. So we begin looking at South Carolina football. What is your biggest concern? I have stopping the run, running the football, new offense coordinator, or just simply the schedule. People are always going to weigh in with the schedule, especially
schedule will always be an issue
when you look at September. We'll get more into that because
Preston, let's get into that.
You brought up some good points there with Zach Pickens. I know people kind of when it occurred, a lot of people said, "Oh, it's okay if we lose Jordan Burch." He doesn't really. Well, you get a guy who's been in the program for 3 years, who understands what's going on, who was kind of coming along at the end of the year. That's not good either. We'll talk about that also. How do linebackers impact that? Because Mokaba's back, Stone Blanton's got another year under his system. Pup Howard is obviously now in the system. We'll talk a lot about that. Get into some football discussion. Get back into this coaching discussion as well. Bob Huggins, we'll get Preston's take on that. So much to do this morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Preston here. Let me tell you about our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshields, no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. So if you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows and mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Rand Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Hey, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers. When it comes to diamonds, everybody knows that we have the best selection. But did you know that we also have the best prices? How do we do it? In Mine Diamonds, we work directly with the largest cutters, and in lab-grown diamonds, by working directly with the growing laboratories, which allows us to offer you the best quality at the very best price. Like a lab-grown 1-carat diamond for just $999, or a 2-carat for just $2,999. We've even got a beautiful colorless 3-carat diamond for just $4,999. And once you've picked your diamond, we can help you pick exactly the right engagement ring style from our selection of over 1,000 rings, or we can help you design a custom ring that meets your exact specifications. So do your homework and see what diamonds are selling for online, and then come see us. You'll get exactly what you want at the very best price. Only at Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, and in Sand Hills, where the Midlands get engaged.
Trucks, we want trucks. New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet, or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
I'm Brad Heller with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. After suffering a torn ACL Week 4 against the Raiders last season, Broncos running back Javonte Williams told the media Sunday at a youth football camp that he'll be ready to go for training camp when the team reports on July 25th. Williams' timetable is in line with what the organization has been optimistically predicting, according to NFL Network's James Palmer. Tom Brady's retirement has left many question marks for the Buccaneers to answer, along with vacancies to fill. Pro Bowl left tackle Tristan Wirfs says he's ready to step in and help fill the leadership void left behind by Brady. Wirfs telling the Vikes Verified podcast, quote, "I've really been doing my best this offseason throughout all these OTAs and throughout this minicamp just to be a little bit more vocal. I've always been kind of a lead by example kind of guy, go almost under the radar. I feel like now it gets to a certain point where now I kind of got to take over." This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
It's your last chance to shop July 4th savings at Lowe's. Right now, save on select major appliances. And when you buy more, you save more. Get up to an additional $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Plus, right now when you buy a Craftsman V20 string trimmer or blower for just $99, you'll get a select Bear tool free. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/12. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Buy more, save more. Valid on appliances $396 or more. While supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
School on! Stay on!
Sounds like it's back to school time, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for school. Save on markers and crayons, save on notebooks and folders, and right now at Staples, save big on tech with up to $250 off select computers. Staples, where savings for school are always in session. N729, in-store only. See associate for details.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
No major slowdowns to speak of right now, traffic-wise. We're looking for some showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms this morning and through lunchtime today, ending up with a high today of 83, 92 for a high tomorrow, 94 on Wednesday, 74 right now at 107.5 The Game.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 107.5 The Game.
6:36 on a Monday morning, July the 10th, as Preston and I kind of agree. We're turning the corner, Preston. Turning the corner. Football season not far. I mean, what is it? I haven't looked. I say sometimes I start talking like this and I realize I haven't looked. I think we're about 10 days out, maybe 12 from the first NFL training camp. Does that seem right?
Everything gets pushed up earlier and earlier. That seems a little bit premature, but I don't know.
8 days. Rookies begin reporting on July 18th is the upcoming day, and by the end of July 25th, everyone will have reported except for the Steelers, who show up the 26th.
Well, they just keep winning, so I would maybe see what they do. Copy them.
Yeah. So July, the Falcons, the rookie report date is July 18th. I'm just looking at, and then veteran report date is July 25th. So about 15 days away. Then you go into the Hall of Fame game, which takes place there up in Canton, and we will be ready to go with football season. It's, you get excited. I've always told people this. People say, hey, going back to that vacation discussion that we were having, but August is the one that bothers me, man.
Because it's
you
kind of there, but it's not quite.
There's only so much you can break down and analyze in the month of August. I mean, we're starting today with just talking about what is your biggest concern. Is it running the football? Is it stopping the run? Is it the new offensive coordinator, Dow Loggins? Because I'll admit, the week off last week, I took time to go back and watch Tennessee and the Clemson game, the Tennessee and Clemson games. I know how we felt about Marcus Satterfield. It's also tough to watch those two games and go like, oh, maybe he did figure it out. His play sheet was much smaller. It was just looked like just a line of plays. And Preston, I'll kind of ask you that because we talked stopping the run in the last segment. Now running the football. On the flip side of that, you don't have Marshawn Lloyd, and that is a loss.
Well, this is what we know about the SEC, and it's cliche, it's trite. We say it all the time. In order to win this league, you have to run the ball and stop the run. It's been said before. We say it again, and it always holds true. So for these to be two of the major questions that this team has is concerning for sure. As far as running the ball is concerned, there's two parts to this. Two main parts, I'll say. Is the offensive line going to get themselves together? They did struggle at several points throughout the year last year. There's a new offensive line coach. So that's going to be changing. So and I say, let me put new in quotation marks because Coach Teasley did a lot of the work last year. Some people would credit some of their late turnaround to his work towards the end of the year. That's all well and good, but it's his room now. So will the offensive line be ready? They have not been ready in the past 2 years since Shane Beamer's been here. The second part is we weren't able to run the ball previously with a highly talented running back. This year, we do not have that in the stable. And so what is going to be the plan at running back? They thought they were going to go in the portal and get somebody. That didn't happen. Now we need to figure out who's going to be taking those snaps.
They'll have about 30 days to figure it out. I again, going back, watching some of the Wildcat stuff, how different for a football player, for a quarterback, is it running for Dakereon Joyner, running the Wildcat, taking the snap, faking the handoff, then taking off up the middle or around the right or left? How different is it for him as opposed to now being in the backfield, standing next to Spencer Rattler and being handed the ball to run?
There's obviously some similarities, but the difference is when you're playing running back, you have to set up your blocks. You have to be a little bit more patient as far as letting plays develop. You have to hit holes at certain angles. And the most important thing that you have to do in the backfield is you have to block. And that's not something that DK has been good at or practiced very much of in his career. So being able to do that now, whether they figure out a rotation, whether they can put people in to take certain plays or do certain aspects of the offense, that's yet to be seen. But there is a difference between a surprise as a quarterback running the ball when there's an extra blocker and the extra defender. If we want to let's get nerdy. Here we go, Bill. When you run the ball as a quarterback, you are the extra man. There's nobody to account for you. So inherently you have a built-in advantage. when you run the ball as a running back, somebody is accounting for you, and there's somebody going to be assigned to you, and so it's not going to be as easy pickings running as a running back.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Let's break off some of these football chops here. Here we go.
Yeah, if you're feeling good,
I'm just warming up, man.
Yeah.
You know, we're a little rusty on the football, but we getting it.
Well, I'll go back to this this point. This isn't a question, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about a segment ago. Stopping the run. This is according to Anonymous Station. Says stop the run. 11th or worse against the run the last 5 years. And Preston, you look at it again. Alex Hunley's back. But you do lose Zach Pickens. You lose Gilbert Edmond, who was a big part of that. You lose Jordan Birch. You do get Jordan Strawn back. But that defensive line, new defensive line coach, you never switched defensive line coaches, right? Charlie, you did? Charlie, that's right. Jappy Oliver came in your last year.
I played for 3 different defensive line coaches.
Oh, hold on. Lounsbury?
Yes.
Oh, what was that, 1 year? 2 years?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, save those. Good stories coming up there. Preston's got a smile on his face. Memories just came flooding back to him. We'll get into that because I will be interested. When you talk about stopping the run, when you bring in a new guy like Travian Robertson, who's played in the SEC, hadn't coached in the SEC, but understands the dynamics and the physical nature, how different it is when he starts preaching it his way, especially given that he's going to do it after spring practice. He doesn't have those 15 or 14 practices in a spring game to kind of institute his, I guess, terminology, the simple things that we don't think about. I want to ask you about that. And you appear to have some memories going from, let's see if I get it right. Let's see, you went from Strong to Lounsbury to Jappy for 1 year, the final year.
Correct.
Yes, okay. My memory. Look at it. Take a vacation.
Good
the
job,
memory
Bill.
is strong.
You're
yeah.
still sharp, sir.
Yeah, 803-404-6100. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. In the morning, Taco Bell keeps it toned down and simple, like the breakfast crunch wrap with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just delicious. Taco Bell breakfast, served until 11 a.m.
Do you remember your first Gamecock game? Who you were with and where did you sit? Where did you tailgate? What were you wearing? The idea that all those memories can come flooding back the moment you set foot on campus is real. So this year and every year, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Get your tickets today and catch a game at any time for any sport. Online at GamecocksOnline.com.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Steven Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worry. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Blow off the boat trip. Cancel the cookout. It's our biggest sale in history. Going on now at Galliana Kia on Greystone. Gotta go to Galliana. Get a smoking deal on a new Kia with 0% financing. Plus, you can win a free TV just for walking in. No purchase necessary. A free TV just for coming in. 2023 Kia Rio LX, just $16,990. That's right, a new Kia for $16,990. Remember, we buy old cars in any condition. All trade-ins are welcome. And at Galliana Kia, our lenders offer credit forgiveness. New Kias at huge discounts and 0% financing. Plus, a chance to win a free TV. Gotta go to Galliana. Biggest sale in history at Galliana Kia on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or KiaColumbia.com. U.S. stock number 3K1127 plus tax and tax. Includes $225 plus $50 qualified dollars. $41.66 per month per thousand borrowed for 24 months at 0 APR with 0 dollars. Subject to lender approval. 1 TV and 3 per payment. Drawing to be held July 31st.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
No major slowdowns or tie-ups this morning, and weather-wise, we're looking at some rain coming in a little bit later this morning, maybe continuing through lunchtime. A high overall today of 83, 92 for a high tomorrow, 94 on Wednesday. Holding steady at 74 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Eight 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. No Jamie Bradford today. He'll be back. We got a lot to talk about coming up in the next hour. We got to get into Jen's vacation. We got to hear about that. Home Run Derby is tonight. All-Star Game in Major League Baseball is tomorrow night on Fox, but the Home Run Derby tonight on ESPN. I don't know if that's something that intrigues you. Like, it's one of those things where I think if there were a few other things going on, I'd shrug it off and say, I'm not it. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, this is it. This is the show. This is what's going on. Yeah, I stumbled upon the conclusion that maybe the Home Run Derby is something for younger kids. It's something that it's really cool to see your favorite players get up to bat, take big hacks, try and hit the ball out the park. Maybe as an adult, since we've seen it enough, it may get a little redundant to us. But I think if you're a young baseball fan, it is something cool to see.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit more in the next hour. Pat Fitzgerald and Bob Huggins. We'll get into that as well. And I will bring you talk about not having some stuff to watch. Like last night, I had two TVs going. I was and there was three events I was actually trying to keep track of. One was the NASCAR race in Atlanta. I was heavily invested in USA Canada in the Gold Cup. We won. USA won. And then I was watching Victor Wembanyama again with the Spurs. And I've been fascinated to why. I've gone out of my way. We probably need to talk about G.G. Jackson since I was out as well and what he's been doing in the summer league. But Victor Wembanyama, I don't know if you've had a chance to watch him.
Our only coverage of Victor Wembanyama is Britney Spears related.
That also did occur over the weekend.
That's been our coverage.
Okay. We'll get into that a little bit with him because I know he's young and he's got a long way to go, and maybe he develops. I'm already looking at him going, are you really going to be different than Yao Ming? Like, are you?
That's interesting that you say that. And here we can get into the real sport talk there, but that's interesting.
We'll get into that because Yao Ming was really good. Don't get me wrong. It's just the hype around Victor Wembanyama, and he took a shot last night late in the game that he can shoot. I'll explain this more in the next hour, but you were like, really? That's the shot you're taking? So we'll get into that. But right now we've been talking a little bit about South Carolina football. A week from today, I'll be up in Nashville. We'll be getting ready for the start of SEC Media Days. Got a poll question out. You can go to my Twitter account. I've also tagged Preston and Jen in it. You can go at Will, W-I-L, Gunter, G-U-N-T-E-R. What is your biggest concern heading into the season? Stopping the run, running the football. Is it the fact that South Carolina has a new offensive coordinator? I just put new offensive coordinator, or the schedule. Right now, 44.8% going with stopping the run. We'll continue talking about that. Real quick, I want to tell you about my good friends at Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. Love Chevrolet's been taking care of families for over 60 years right here in the Midlands, doing it the right way, making sure that they don't sell above MSRP, making sure that you have the largest selection of vehicles anywhere in the Midlands, over 14 acres of brand new Chevys to choose from, but most importantly, making sure that their sales staff is friendly, is knowledgeable, is ready to help you from the second you come on the lot to the second you drive off with a huge smile on your face because of a great purchase that you got at a great price and because you had a great selection to choose from. But again, it's that sales staff and how they treat you, how they answer your questions, how they make sure you are comfortable with a very important purchase in your life. That is what makes Love Chevrolet stand out. So go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or you can visit them on the web. You can even speak with a seasoned professional right over the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. So what do you remember about the transition from Charlie Strong, who I think you really liked?
Yep.
And I guess was a really good defensive line coach in terms of technique and fundamentals. What do you remember about the transition to Paul Lounsbury, who he came from the Northeast, I think?
It was a dramatic transition. And it was a different transition because we was also changing defenses. So we were doing different techniques. There was a lot going on. The biggest thing I remember was that it just wasn't when we were in the film rooms. The biggest thing about Charlie Strong was there was an atmosphere that was created in the film room, which was jovial at times, pretty hard at times. He didn't mince words, but you were able to accept it coming from him. Paul Lounsbury tried to do many of the same things and wasn't necessarily taken the same way. And so the big thing about having a new coach is not what you necessarily do on the field, it's what you do in the meeting rooms. It's what you do in all this other time that we have spending together. And so I don't know how that changes, especially when we're looking at Jimmy Lindsey compared to Travian Robinson. From what I know of both of them, I think we know Travian Robinson is from, rest in peace, he's from the Brad Long tree.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Lindsey was not from that same school of coaching, just from what I'm saying. And when I'm trying not to talk in code, what I'm saying is, there's one person that you would prefer that you would maybe bring to your Sunday school class, and there's one person that you might go out to the bar on Saturday night.
I would maybe label it as this because again I did this and I sat there and I know I could tell the difference. There's one coach who you're okay having your 8, 9, 10-year-old son listen to and understand the game, and there's one coach who you'd be like, yeah, let's ask him questions away from the practice field because they're both great off the practice field. It's just there's one that you'd be like, oh, you're going to get a lesson in language today, and there's one that you're like, oh, you're going to get a lesson in fundamentals and technique.
Yes, there's a PG-13 coach and maybe a rated R NC-17 coach or something along those lines. All of it can be delivered in the same way, and it all works depending on it. Just what I'm interested in is to see what's going to be the transition when they get what I assume will be a little bit more of that harsher, more militant coaching than they had previously. And so maybe the players, maybe they've been craving that, maybe that's what they wanted, or it may be tough for them to adjust.
Does it help that if that is going to be the approach?
I this is all assumption.
Right.
I have to say that.
But let's say if Travian Robertson is more of a get in your rear end type coach.
Yeah,
and I can't speak for Jimmy Lindsey. Again, it's totally different than the way it used to be where you could go out and watch and we could come back and discuss. But the fact that Travian is younger and can relate to them a little bit more than, say, being an older coach. Brad Lawing was an older coach, but somehow was able, I don't know what it was off the field or the way he treated them. You know, it was very similar to kind of Frank Martin and the fact that the kids loved him.
Loved him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And you would see it and you'd be like, really?
Yeah. I mean, I've told that story multiple times about what he did to Melvin Ingram, where he just had Melvin sit in a chair and drink Gatorade while he made everybody else run. And then they all loved him. They all hugged him afterwards. They're like, thank you for that lesson, coach. That's
does it
help?
Jedi mind tricks.
Does it help that Travian's younger?
Maybe. It can help, but I've seen a young coach try to be too cool and it backfires. So it's all about how you relate to your players, and there's really no X factor as to why or what. It's just is that coach able to relate to players? And I've seen 80, I've seen young, I've seen black, I've seen white, I've seen old, northeast, southeast. It's all about can you relate to the players.
We will get into some other stuff. We'll continue having this discussion. Ronnie weighs in this morning. I enjoy the home run derby. The issue is the best home run hitters don't participate, and definitely worried about our run defense. So we'll get into more of that, get into the home run derby. Coaches going wild. There's a lot. It's what happens when you take a couple of days off. Plenty to do. We'll continue on the early game on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is Gamecock catcher Cole Messina. You're listening to the home of the Gamecocks at 107.5 The Game.
A Cumulus media station.
That pool party was a blast, but now your house is a mess. Call Zerez Carpet Cleaning right now and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to save 15% off your next cleaning. Use promo code Summer Sale when scheduling online at ZerezColumbia.com.
Yes, we're stranded off the Main Street exit northbound. How fast can you be here?
I just want to check under the hood while we wait.
Hold on just a sec. Honey, it's dark out. I don't think it's a good idea to get out.
I'm sure it'll take them a while.
They're here?
Wow.
We're not that fast, but we're pretty close. When you're in a pickle because you drive a lemon, call Schroeder's Towing. Don't be left on the side of the road distressed. That's Schroeder's Towing with over 1,200 Google reviews. Call now at 772-7930.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest bookers in town.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-384-3434. That's 800-384-3434. 800-384-3434.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
If you're suffering and there's a safe, natural, easy-to-use solution to help make you feel better, wouldn't you at least want to try it? That's why millions of people use Navage Nasal Care to help relieve their symptoms of sinus congestion, allergies, snoring, and other nasal-related problems. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Candace, a verified Navage user who writes, "This is the greatest invention ever made. I truly can't believe the difference and the relief it has made in my sinus problems. Thank you," unquote. Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Steven Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
What you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. No hassles, no all-day runarounds, no ridiculous add-on stickers. At Love Chevy, buying a car is fun. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game.
With Bill Gunter.
That was a segment on the number 3.
And 13.
And 13.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne and Shin Jensen.
And all I'm hearing is the Sesame Street song, and this brought to you by the number 3,
There you
the
go.
letter B, whatever the case may be.
There you go.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
How about that? How about that for quality radio during the summertime? Welcome to the early game.
Idiocracy.
107.5.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
The Game.
We are back, at least for like a couple weeks. Then I'm taking another vacation. Get ready for football season and gear up, because once football season starts, as Preston has informed me already multiple times since we started doing the show in January, there are no vacations.
Once it starts, it's just
its own.
It's head down until January.
I was breaking it down to somebody last night. I can't remember who it was, just talking about the next few weeks. This coming weekend, I'll travel to Nashville for SEC Media Days. I'll stay up there an extra day to hang out for a buddy of mine's birthday next weekend. They're all coming in to town. And then the following weekend, I'll have a kind of a free weekend. That'll be the 29th. That'll be it. Then you get the Hall of Fame game taking place, Preston, coming up here in about 3 weekends. You got, I think it's Cleveland and the New York Jets, I believe is what I saw properly. But that's coming up here in just a few weeks. Then you get into preseason football. The 4th is going to be the August 4th. So then you go August 11th, August 18th. We'll start getting ready for our preseason golf tournament that we have. I believe that'll be August. That'll be a Friday. Let's do the math quick. 8 to I believe that'll actually be the 12th, 19th. That'll be the 25th, I believe, is when we're having. I know we're going to start promoting that out at Charwood with Rock and Daniel. And then that'll be technically week 0 for college football, Notre Dame and Navy. So we're not far away from it, and it really kind of kicks up. So everybody's kind of getting in their final vacations. I know you probably want to get out and enjoy a few days off. Jen and I, not together but separately, did it and enjoyed our time off. And Jen, you took far more of a vacation. How was Chicago? What was it? It rained. It looked like you had to get on an ark to get from your hotel to the course there for a little bit. But tell us a little bit about the Chicago street race and your take on that being up there.
We went to the festivities on Saturday, kind of wandered around some of the fan village stuff when it wasn't raining. We went up there on Saturday, drove up there on Saturday morning. My hometown's like 50 miles south of Chicago, so not a bad drive in. We knew the right ways to go, so we didn't get bogged down in traffic, so that kind of helped a little bit. But where we stayed was just a couple blocks from where everything was, so it was an easy walk. But yeah, puddles and all that, a little bit sloshy, and then it just got worse from there. So we did not go to the Xfinity race. We didn't have plans to, but we kind of took in everything, and it was kind of neat to see. They had different displays, different cars on display, and there was a lot of different art that people had done. So that was kind of fun to look at. But then it just rained, and then in the hotel, it's like, oh, it's raining so much they must have satellite. So then the TV goes out, and it's like, okay, and you don't want to sightsee in the rain, so it's not like you can go anywhere. So yeah, that kind of stunk. But once Saturday came, it was good. I mean, once we finally got to go to the race, it was fun.
I'm being serious with what I'm about to say. I know we joke about this a lot. I would imagine, and I think I sent this in a text message too, because of the rain, it forces people indoors.
Yeah.
And because it was a party atmosphere, typically indoors is not to the art galleries or the other fine establishments. It's more of the pubs.
Right.
Did you and Darren get a chance to that's to me what it was, because I saw all those crazy numbers about the number of people that was expected in Chicago for the race. And
Yeah.
I don't know how much you watched. I don't know how much you watch Preston on television. Jen, I don't know how you watch.
Mm-hmm.
Something that kind of kept being brought up was, well, the town of Chicago doesn't know much about NASCAR at all. This is all like brand new to them.
Oh,
They were running the commercial of yeah, we know about the Cubs. We won the World Series. We know about the Bears.
Once.
We know about the Blackhawks.
Yep.
We with NASCAR, they just, what is this? What is this sport now that they're doing? What was the atmosphere like inside the pubs? Because I would imagine that's when it rains like that, everybody's pushed inside. They still want to party and have a good time.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of people going, so what exactly is the goal here? To finish first, to not run into the tires? Is it bumper cars?
Chicago, like most folks around the country, they don't need much of an excuse to go to the pubs.
Correct.
So,
They know how to do that.
right.
Yeah, and we were literally, because we stayed on Monroe, like at the Palmer House, so not too far off Michigan Avenue. So like right literally within the block is Miller's Pub, and that's a historic place. The most amazing ribs you'll ever find. So like we found ourselves in there watching, some attempts at qualifying. We actually were able to watch some other forms of racing. They were actually putting on some other stuff. But I mean, people were just packing it in there. But there were a lot of people out and about, a lot of ponchos. You couldn't buy one because we made our way down up State Street, went to like a Target. It's like, do they have anything left for that? So we maybe could walk around. Nobody had anything. So I used to work in that vicinity. I worked in Chicago for about 6 months. So at least I kind of knew the area of where maybe we could go. So that probably helped a little bit. I knew kind of some ways to navigate. But yes, there was people were still having fun. You know, there were still people walking in the rain with their either ponchos or umbrellas and stuff like that. Once you got to the grounds, umbrellas could not be taken in. So there was a whole pile if you wanted to shop for an umbrella, because I'm pretty sure people didn't get them back. So that part was kind of funny. But once we finally got to race day, you know, we actually went there kind of as right before the race was going to get started, because we're like, I'm not going to get soaked out here. Sorry. But then you had to navigate because there was a lot of standing water and my shoes were disgusting. And but when we finally got to our seats were great. You know, we were on some bleachers, some risers. We had to go across one of the bridges to go over. So for a second, I got to video them coming around out of turn one until the lady yelled at us and said, you know, keep moving. But it was great. It was loud, but the way they did everything was great. They had big boards, video boards, so you could see what was going on. Pretty much, I think we got the broadcast feed, and then we got to listen to that. So it was kind of nice because, like at the Indy 500, you can't hear all of that. So it was kind of nice. I didn't have to have my headphones with me, but that part was fun. And then in between, like if there was a caution or something, then they had somebody that was playing music, and you know, you were hearing Sweet Home Chicago and all kinds of fun stuff, things from the Blues Brothers, you know, different songs from there, and they were talking to different people in the crowd. People had a blast. But I will say what I found most interesting was people were cheering for the Australian guy. But I think it's because they didn't know the other. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of NASCAR fans there, but I think there were a lot that weren't. And so they kind of knew about this guy and had watched, and you know, because there was a time where they were showing their pedals, like when they were doing practice rounds and stuff like that, and how he actually used the clutch to get himself into the turns more than the other guys did. You know, that to me, that technical stuff's fascinating. But yeah, there were more people who were thrilled to death that Shane won this thing.
Have you ever been to an event, Preston, where you're not really a fan? You're just kind of there? Like where you kind of going back to what Jen just brought up, what Jen just said about like people that are kind of like, oh, this is cool. Like you're there because it's kind of a party, but you don't really know what's going on. Like we were in Darlington, and even after all these years, that was brand new to me. And, you know, we joked last night I was pulling for Kyle Busch. This week I'll pull for somebody entirely different. Like I have no allegiances to a specific. But if you ever, I'll ask Jen, I'll ask the same question in a minute. But have you ever been to something where you're like,
think of something
like, you know, I remember going to the first hockey match when hockey was here in Columbia, the minor league, the Inferno was here. And I remember going to it because, they have, like, you know, I was in college. It was like, Thirsty Thursday. Yeah. Like, hey, okay, we'll go hang out. But I didn't know hockey. And I was like, so what are we trying to accomplish here?
Charleston Stingrays, same deals. We would go to games pretty frequently, and you'd be like, I don't know what's going on now, but that's fast. Ooh, somebody this is cool. And you kind of feed off the energy of the people who do know what's going on, and you cheer when they cheer, or you say, start paying attention.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask, because as that afternoon I kind of brought that up, people just coming in because it was an event, and this was something Chicago had never seen. And I'll be interested to hear, I'm going to ask you now, but I'll be interested to hear Carrie Tharp, because I saw a lot of the feedback on late Sunday evening, and then Monday and Tuesday about the race. I even saw Heath Klein tweeting about it, but I want to see that once a year. Now, I don't know if you can come up with 5 other cities. I'm assuming you can, that you can do a road course race like that and rotate through. It's not something that I think would be cool if you do it twice, because like the true road courses that they have,
there's too much that goes into it,
are different than what you saw on Saturday, or 2 weeks ago on Sunday. But I thought it was cool, and I'd like to see that again. I don't know what other cities you can do that in and create that kind of environment, but I do think that was a really cool one-off race to do once a year.
Yeah, and they do that in different cities. You know, Detroit, they've done races there. St. Petersburg. I mean, there are a few places they are already doing that, and as of right now, they're planning on doing the Chicago race again next year because we've already gotten something where it's like, okay,
Oh, really? They're going to do that one again?
Yeah, it sounds like it because we got the email that said, hey, do you want to renew your tickets? You can do a deposit right now, so it's like, oh, we want the money. But it looks like for sure next year. Now, after that, I don't know. But I think they said by the 15th, they would have everything completely. So, I mean, you're talking, it's a good 2 weeks to build it out. And then it's a good 2 weeks. I mean, they have the main thoroughfares open and stuff like that. But they got that done pretty quickly.
I'll be interested to hear what Carrie says about it. It's kind of like the dirt race at Bristol, where, again, I think it's really cool to do it one time a year, just a little bit of, because we talked about this, like in golf, in the PGA Tour, you can take weeks off and it doesn't hurt you. Baseball, you play 162 games, but maybe some players miss. The racers race. They get 1 weekend off. Father's Day. We politely give them Father's Day weekend off. But other than that, it's a grind.
No, it's a big grind.
And it can get very monotonous. And if you don't do something like this, or like the dirt race, or I love the throwback weekend, a couple weeks, like I that's what to me shakes it up a little bit, makes it kind of fun.
And I heard really some pretty positive feedback from the drivers as far as how the configuration of the track and how they really liked. They felt like the course, the street surface was better than they actually anticipated. So I think positive feedback from them. I know Denny Hamlin, when they did a drivers meeting not too long before they sent the guys to the cars, he's like, please do not do this. Do not do this. Well, they must have had a magic ball as to what the weather was going to do, because, and there was that one article that we saw that said they were literally like 15 minutes from just canceling it,
moving it
till Monday, which Monday morning, we checked out, we're driving. I mean, it was it would have been a great day for racing. It was perfect.
We'll obviously talk more with Carrie about that on Thursday and get ready. Last night, William Byron won a rain-shortened Atlanta race. Kind of a shame there that the rain got in the way. It was interesting last night as I kind of had it on, listening to the drivers and everybody try and analyze and figure out, all right, we know this is going to be shortened.
Mm-hmm.
We know we're not going the full it. How do we handle tires and gas and all that?
That's how Kyle Busch ended up in fifth. He couldn't get himself into the top 20 for the most part, all the race. He ends up fifth. Well, that was because of fuel strategy, and it's a big gamble. What do you do? So the guys who were running up front ended up 8th, 10th, or worse.
Worked out well for me. You and I were close there in Chicago. I don't have a Jen. I don't know if you've updated the sheet. I think you. I think I finished second there with Larson.
The only problem is my top secret sources told me to take a dark horse pick, and they told me to pick Shane, and I didn't trust my source.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a shame.
That's a rough one.
And that was honestly in my head, and I thought, boy, I just didn't know if I wanted somebody who isn't in the regular circuit to win. That's the only part about that I'm not a big fan of, because that takes a points opportunity away from somebody getting into the championship. So that part, I'm not as big of a fan of, but he'll be in the series, I'm sure, because he'll be able to ride his ticket, no question.
Yeah, he said he's coming. In 2 years.
Yeah, he wanted to get out of his contract. Yep.
Hey, Bill, I got an event too.
Okay,
I got an event.
We'll get to that.
Oh,
we'll talk a little Bob Huggins. I feel like you're ready. We've loosened you up. We've gotten back in. Preston's Thorns, Buds, and Roses coming up here in about 45 minutes. We're turning the corner. It's getting a little heat. We'll get back into some football discussion. A lot to do this morning as we roll along. The family back together here this week. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 107.5 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Right now, by contacting AAA Heating and Air, you could save up to $5,300. That's right, the Inflation Reduction Act. If you haven't heard of it, if you want to know more about it, you need to call the Comfort Advisors at AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500, and you can learn about this new offer that you can save up to $3,800 on. You can get tax credits of up to $3,800. And if you couple that with the fact that AAA Heating and Air will offer you $1,500 to buy back your old unit. When you purchase a new one, that's $5,300 in savings. Don't wait a day longer. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. 1500. Let Roy and Dana Finley take care of your family. Get a new heating and air unit installed today, and it comes with a 15-year parts and labor warranty, something you definitely want. That way, if something goes wrong, AAA Heating and Air is ready to pop out to the house and help you. Trust me, they've taken care of myself. They've taken care of others here at 1075 The Game. They're ready to help you, so don't wait a day longer. Call the Comfort Advisors at AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500. You want to mention you heard it right here on 1075 The Game with Bill Gunner. Call today. Save up to $5,300 with a brand new heating and air unit. They can guarantee financing. And again, they offer that 15-year parts and labor warranty. You don't want to miss it. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them you heard it here on 1075 The Game with Bill Gunner.
This is Boomer Science with the CBS Sports Minute. What a weekend for women's golf, starting with primetime coverage of the first U.S. Women's Open staged at Pebble Beach. 25-year-old Hawaiian Allison Corpuz became the first American in 20 years to earn her initial LPGA title at this major. Meantime, Michelle Wee West retired Saturday. Her final stroke, a 30-foot putt. I'm Boomer Science. CBS Sports Minute.
It's your last chance to shop July 4th savings at Lowe's. Right now, save on select major appliances. And when you buy more, you save more. Get up to an additional $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Plus, right now when you buy a Craftsman V20 string trimmer or blower for just $99, you'll get a select Bear tool free. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/12. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Buy more, save more. Valid on appliances $396 or more. While supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. In the morning, Taco Bell keeps it toned down and simple, like the breakfast crunch wrap, with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just delicious. Taco Bell breakfast, served until 11 a.m.
Waper Incorporated has been providing great service and top-of-the-line equipment for Columbia's janitorial needs for 50 years. Skip Skipper and Jay Coleman at Waper Incorporated offer unbeatable pre-sale and post-sale service for their equipment to achieve the highest level of customer satisfaction in the Midlands. Waper provides in-service equipment training, installation of proportioning systems and hand care systems, along with a full array of janitorial products, offering next or same-day delivery to the greater Columbia area. Let Waper serve you. Call 803-600-3757 or WaperIncSC.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits, like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
54 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee.
I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com.
Find new roads.
The Craft Beer Passport. It's not just any beer, it's a craft beer. Make that 2 choice craft beers at 17 fine breweries. It's a value of $285 and you pay just $79. That's 38 beers for $79. It's not just any deal, it's a sweet deal. The Craft Beer Passport. You'll find it at 1075thegame.com.
Save big during Hand & Stone's Christmas and July gift card sale. Gift cards for a 1-hour massage or facial start at only $69.95. Discover relaxation at their Columbia locations or visit online handandstone.com. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to indulge yourself or someone special.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
There will be a time where I think I'm going to turn to my grandchildren, knock on wood. Hey, want to see some great moments? It's called a kickoff. And we're like, what's that? I hate it. At some point, there's got to be someone standing up in the room for the content, for the fans. We're essentially legislating those moments away. And what's left? Fantasy football.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert Traffic update. As we keep on this morning, we have not seen much in the way with confirmed collisions, major backups, or problems on our heavily traveled roadways and interstates. But due to in part of the rain that will be around this morning, just want to make sure you are being a little extra cautious, courteous to your fellow motorists out on the roads. And of course, just being mindful of damp road conditions. For anything major that pops up, we'll be sure to keep you posted later this morning. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert Traffic Update. I'm meteorologist Tony Schiaparoli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
7:22 on a Monday morning as we get you up and get you going here, and plenty to discuss from a weekend that was, and we'll get into this Bob Huggins. I will admit, I know Bob Huggins personally from my time doing basketball scouting. I know him well enough to say I know him personally. I've talked to him in one-on-one settings, and obviously his friendship with Frank Martin has been well documented. Huggins is an interesting guy. I'll leave it at that. I've got some stories that are probably not right for air, but Bob Huggins is a very interesting guy. But Preston, this whole situation with West Virginia is just I don't know what he's going for here. Like he knows, right? He knows that they're not going to hire, or they're not going to let him coach another game. I'm trying to figure out financially what his goal is here.
That's all this has to be based on, because on June 17th, which was a couple days earlier this summer, this was the statement that he said. He said, "Mountaineer Nation, today I have submitted a letter to President Gordon G. and Vice President, Director of Athletics Wren Baker, informing them of my resignation and intention to retire as men's basketball coach at West Virginia, effective immediately." I don't know where the vagueness, and now he's saying he did not resign. However, that sounds like he did resign. So maybe I'm missing some legalese, or there's some language here.
Oh, yeah, no. Here's what you're missing.
Okay.
This is on ESPN.com, and this is the argument. This is a letter obtained by ESPN. An attorney, David Campbell, representing Bob Huggins, said Huggins' resignation correspondence with the school did not come from him.
It came from
his wife.
What?
June Huggins. Bob Huggins' attorney. Let me repeat for those of you out there listening. Okay. What is being said? I want you to listen again to what's being said. David Campbell is the attorney that is representing Bob Huggins. He is saying Bob Huggins' resignation correspondence with the school, did not come from Bob Huggins. It came from his wife, June Huggins. Campbell claims Huggins never gave West Virginia a formal resignation.
Okay.
Now, I'm not married anymore. Preston, How would this go over with the wife? if you were to tell her, hey, I'm going to the grocery store, what would you want? And then you come back from the grocery store and you were like, yeah, actually, I didn't ask you that question. The 3-year-old daughter asked you that, and I totally, whatever I forgot is it's all because of her fault. She's the one that asked.
I mean, I'm assuming we're all on the same page here. Like, we all going to take the fall. One goes down, we all go down, and we're just going to blame it on her because it's a family affair. The daughter had weighed in earlier where, if you're not familiar with the whole story of Huggins, he got arrested for DUI, I believe. And some of the details from that was that he was riding around with a cab full of empty beer cans. And his daughter came to his rescue, as I guess maybe my daughter would, maybe if I train her up right. But she said that her father was an avid recycler. And that's the reason why he had the beer cans in his
Also
thing.
a very good one.
That is very good.
She said he was an avid
recycler.
He was an avid recycler. You know, Bob Huggins is obviously climate change, and he's been worried about the environment, and so he had to. And this,
But he didn't have them in a bag, did he?
They were not in a bag, but we were getting there.
Okay.
We were getting there.
I would have thought it would have been easier, but maybe he was working on
sorting.
On his form of shooting, like throwing them into the cab.
Yeah, avid recycler. So, and when I say cab, I don't even mean the back cab. You know, like some construction workers might have. I mean like the back seat.
Yes.
Right, of the front full cab. And again, we are definitely not making light of this situation because it's a really
making
bad
light of the
situation.
people involved
We're
in it.
making involved of the ridiculousness of how far it's going because to me, this is cut and dry. You got caught doing something that we've all agreed as a society is not anything that we want or advocate for. And its grounds, especially coming off of what you did earlier in the year, which was use terrible slurs on live broadcasts. You've had your time. It's time to move on.
The university this past weekend on Saturday released an email that was sent from an account belonging to Bob Huggins' wife, June Huggins. The email was sent to athletic director Ren Baker the day the head coach announced his resignation that said, please accept this correspondence as my formal notice of resignation of West Virginia head basketball coach and as notice of my retirement from West Virginia University effective immediately. I come back to this like, okay, if it was from her, I'm assuming Bob Huggins had given it just, yes, legalese is, I think, the term you just used. And basically this is right now in a situation where, again, is Bob Huggins all of a sudden, like, did he sleep it off and he's just now waking up and is like, wait a minute.
What happened?
What did I do last night or the last 4 weeks? Because he's really, you're right. I mean, again, knowing Bob Huggins, I know that there is a good guy, a nice guy there that has helped. He's helped a lot of people. He's helped a lot of kids. He's done a lot of great things. But this is like just gotten to the point of strange. And again, there's, because as texter sent in on Firehouse Subs, Daryl said, West Virginia could easily say, okay, you didn't resign. Fine, you're fired.
Well, I would assume there's a money component to that, correct? If they fire, maybe they could fire if they fired them with calls or without calls.
So
or how
there
that
is
works.
conflicting information here on I've been looking looked last night and it doesn't. So, but he had, after the radio interview, he had a $1 million reduction in salary, but apparently also part of it was his buyout was reduced significantly. Now, I've not been able to find what his buyout was, what it is. Yes, maybe he gets $250,000. I would think, though, that you can be fired with calls, no buyout for what you have done here.
Yeah, this is obviously clearly a situation where you can fire with calls. I mean, I don't think there's any contract that you could be that airtight where you couldn't get away with what he's accused of or what he was arrested for. So I don't see why that would not happen. It felt like West Virginia was doing him the courtesy of letting him resign. They had already did him a courtesy. And let me not say that. West Virginia did what was in their best benefit because they still feel like Huggy Bear is a winner, and he is. So everybody was trying to work together, but now it felt like they were trying to basically let him go out on his own terms and not necessarily embarrass him because he's already done enough. He's already embarrassed himself enough.
Well, and look, I mean, he did, like you said, let him go out on his own terms and just wipe your hands of the situation and move on. And that's what it appears that it will. It'll definitely be something to continue to follow because basically Bob Huggins' attorneys are saying, look, you got two options, man. You can reinstate Huggins or you can be in breach of the contract and we're going to sue you. And that's where, so this isn't going away. I think anytime soon, and I'm not sure how it ends up. By the way, is there another coach in sports that if I told you he has two attorneys, or actually he's got three, including this Campbell guy. But if is there any other coach in the country? If I told you one of his attorneys is named Rocky, that you'd be like, oh yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Bob Huggins has an attorney named like James Rocky so and so. Like if like Rocky is showing up. Slicked back hair.
Da, 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 da.
just. I wasn't thinking of that Rocky. I was thinking of a Rocky straight out of
The Sopranos.
Just straight out.
Oh, okay. Just figured a fighter.
Almost like the what is it? He plays several different roles, but in all the Oceans 11, 12, and 13s, he plays an attorney, but it's the big guy in the very first Ocean's 11 who goes in and fake beats up George Clooney. But I think in the second one he plays an attorney who's bailing somebody. Like that's
who you're picturing. Okay.
Yeah, just showing up like intimidating the.
We got one or two choices here.
Yeah,
a lot of ultimatums.
We can do this your way, or we can do it my way. Where do you want to do it? Yeah, Rocky.
That's pretty much how the show runs.
It is pretty much, and it's running at a somewhat smooth pattern this morning. So we'll try and keep that. Preston's got a sporting event he's been to.
Yes.
That he didn't know anything about. We'll get into that a little bit. Get back into South Carolina football discussion. Preston in his Thorns, Buds, and Roses is going to get into the Northwestern situation. Another coach gone crazy this weekend or situation going wild. We'll talk more about that. So a lot to do. Thorns, Buds, and Roses coming up in about 30 minutes. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, it's me again with another update. We've got our bleeping main transmitter back. That over the top. Sorry.
Really thought we'd played this enough already, but whatever.
That means you can get back to hearing 107.5 The Game the way you used to. But feel free to continue using the 107.5 The Game app. Either way, no charge whatsoever. We also want to say thank you for your patience and your understanding as we went through all this. I mean, I almost cussed. I almost lost it as we went through this technical ordeal. I can only imagine how you felt. Seriously, we appreciate you, our loyal listener, from your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Preston here with Integrated Media. It's time to get ready. I've told you to get ready for the spring. You didn't do it then. I've been telling you to get ready for the summer. And as we said, we're turning the corner here. It's time to get ready. The football season is upon us. Get your outdoors TVs, Samsung TVs, waterproof, Sonos outdoors for speakers, for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors, or if you just want to get all your devices controlled from one remote. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or get them online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
Get ready to paint Charlotte garnet and black on September 2nd when the Gamecocks kick off the season versus UNC at Bank of America Stadium. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to secure your tickets today.
Hey, I'm Jenny Sturm. I'm with Sturmy Plumbing. Call my dad if you have any slow drains, clogged drains, leaky pipes, runny toilets, runny sinks, or no hot water. Call Sturmy Plumbing for all of your service and repair needs. 803-201-2689. At Sturmy Plumbing, where we make your gray skies blue.
Hey, this is Brian with Stormy Plumbing. Give us a call at 803-201-2689. Again, the number is 803-201-2689. We look forward to hearing from you.
Swim season is officially here. Time for you to break out the bathing suit, go in the backyard, and dive into that pool. But you need to make sure it's nice and clean, and it's done on a weekly basis. That's why I use Corley Pool Solutions. Give them a phone call today, 803-4 803-445-8109. You want to spend time enjoying your pool this year, barbecuing out back, diving into the pool, enjoying everything. And with Corley Pool Solutions, maintaining your pool, that's exactly what you will get. Give them a phone call, 803-445-8109. It's actually more affordable to use Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions to help maintain your pool than it is for you to go to the pool store yourself. They will maintain and treat your pool on a weekly basis, preventing expensive pool equipment damage and making sure it's ready for you to come home and be used. Call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109. They will maintain, treat your pool, take care of it, and do it for a flat rate cost, including all of the chemicals. Call Corley Pool Solutions today.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worrying. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. Is it time for a new lawn? You need to start with a smooth grade done right. Then a must is a new Rainbird irrigation system that comes complete with a 1-year warranty. We will then help you know what turf is right for your yard. Tiff Top Bermuda is a great turf for full sun. Then let the pros maintain your whole property and keep your new grass green and healthy and weed-free. At Midlands Landscape and Lawns, we hate weeds. So that's why you can find us at hateweeds.com. hateweeds.com.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we keep on this morning, we have not seen much in the way with confirmed collisions, major backups, or problems on our heavily traveled roadways and interstates. But due to in part of the rain that will be around this morning, just want to make sure you are being a little extra cautious, courteous to your fellow motorists out on the roads. And of course, just being mindful of damp road conditions. For anything major that pops up, we'll be sure to keep you posted later this morning. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert Traffic Update. I'm meteorologist Tony Schiavaroli.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 107.5 The Game.
Eight 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Been talking a little bit of Bob Huggins. Been talking a little bit about Jen's vacation to Chicago, where she called the Chicago Street Race. And we've been talking a little football, and we got a poll question out this morning if you want to go and vote or if you want to weigh in on the Love Chevy phone lines or the Firehouse Subs text line. Football season not far away. Next week I will be up in Nashville for SEC Media Days, and we will get that going. So we put the poll question out this morning. What is your biggest concern right now heading into 2023? Stopping the run, running the football. Is it Dow Loggins and the new offensive coordinator?
This is a big question. All right, so he's gonna be a first-time offensive coordinator. He's never called
college.
plays in college football, so which is completely different than the NFL as far as there's a lot of differences in that.
Let me ask you, with your background, you can break this down a lot better than 90% of the people out there, because this was a hot topic when he arrived, and he mentioned it multiple times. Calling plays based on the hash marks, because the hash marks are wider in the NFL as opposed to college. What does that mean? Simplify that for us who never played football.
What it basically means is when you call plays in the NFL, you have to call for the whole field because the whole field is available. When you call plays in college, based on the hashes being a lot wider, it allows you to use the boundaries, either the short boundary or the long boundary, to create and design plays. So, for instance, when a lot of people were talking about, he say, Shane Beamer's really, not Shane Beamer, when Spencer Rattler's really good when you get him rolling outside the pocket. Well, when you have a wider hashes, there's more room for you to roll, and you can run more flood routes, and you can flood zones and different things of that nature. Whereas in the NFL, with the hashes right down the middle, you have to make full field reads all the time. You really can't just focus on one half of the field.
So how different do you think it will be for Dow Loggins calling plays? Right now, by the way, just that is in fourth place. So apparently a lot of people with confidence in him. Again, stopping the run is first at 44%, running the football at 40%, new offensive coordinator at 6%, and the schedule also on there at 10%. But how do you think it changes what maybe he wants to do with the personnel we know South Carolina has? Which, again, to me, is still going to be tight end heavy a little bit.
Well, I was really impressed because that's one of the first things that he mentioned when he came in, and I thought that was really prescient for him to say that because it is a different style of calling the games. Almost to make a basketball analogy, just the difference between the international court as opposed to the NBA court. You know what I'm saying? It's still basketball, but there's subtle strategic differences that they'll be made. He knows that, obviously, and we assume from our interviews that Dow is a smart guy, so he understands that concept. But if there was an old play that he used to run in the NFL that sort of got him out of a jam or something that was his favorite, it might not be applicable to the college game.
I'll still say, and you've been there, so you've seen Charlie Strong have to do it defensively, and back then Skip Holtz. We saw Steve Spurrier, so we saw maybe the best to ever do it. Marcus, people go, he was an idiot, right? People look at Marcus Satterfield like, oh, he's a dumb. I haven't talked to anybody who thought Marcus Satterfield wasn't one of the smarter football coaches they ever dealt with. What happens is, just like we talk about a quarterback who doesn't have it between the ears come game time, you talk about coaches who just, Will Muschamp's a good example, just whatever it is, being a head coach, just those decision-making things that you've got to make, split-second decisions. For whatever reason, he couldn't seem to do it as a head coach, and that's why you saw losses. Marcus Satterfield just couldn't seem to do it with the play sheet he had for, 20 – they played 26 games. He didn't coach number 26. So for 23 games, the thought process didn't seem to work properly. That's what it's going to come down for Dow Loggins. You can get on that whiteboard, right, and draw everything up, and you can have the world's best game plan, but when it's 1st and 10 – and now you've got you pick up 4 yards and it's 2nd and 6, or you lose 4 and it's 2nd and 14. That changes your play calls, and it's how you make that decision, split-second decision to call the next one.
That's what coaching is involved. And that's why, to my point, it's really interesting because it seems like we as listeners, we as fans, we assume that, oh, man, we're just not going to have the guys that can stop the run. It's all about players. But this is Dow Loggins' first time calling plays also, so that he has to be able to There's room for him to be tense under the lights. He's never coached in front of 80,000 people and had him having to make all the play calls. He's been the tight end coach. He's been the OC in the NFL for very bad teams. I have to say that. So he's never had this opportunity either. So there's going to be times where he's going to freeze up, or he might not be able to make the right call simply because he just hasn't had this experience. And so I think that's worth. He's unproven as an SEC coordinator, and I think that needs to be mentioned more because he has never called plays in the SEC.
So are you a little surprised that he is 4th on that list of biggest concerns?
Yes.
Or does that seem right?
I'm not surprised, but I just think it's the way we view the way we view coaches. We seem to think coaches are infallible, and just because they're in that position, that they don't get nervous or that they make the right calls all the time. And we have no evidence to support that. And so until Dow Loggins gets out there and dials up some ball plays, he has to be just as questionable as Dakereon Jones at running back or anybody else at defensive line. He doesn't get the benefit of the doubt just because he makes a lot of money and he coaches. We'll have to see.
Spencer Rattler or Jay Cutler? Who are you taking?
Well, that's a great question.
Dow Loggins coach Jay Cutler. That's why I ask. Like, he's sitting in the room. You're looking at Jay Cutler, who Cutler has a tendency to all of a sudden, like, eyes go up and start wondering. You know, Jen dealt with Jay Cutler during his time. Yeah, Jen rolls her eyes there. I'll ask you that. And what sporting event did you go to that you just didn't know what was going on?
I have one. You sprung it on me. I couldn't think of one, but I got one.
Well, we'll get to that when we come back. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. In the morning, Taco Bell keeps it toned down and simple, like the breakfast crunch wrap with fluffy eggs, sausage, melty cheese, and a crispy hash brown and a grilled tortilla. Nothing too wild, just delicious. Taco Bell breakfast, served until 11 a.m.
Life matters. Roots are important. A few years ago, I tried to eradicate a stand of bamboo, and I learned the hard way that until the roots of the plant was dealt with, the bamboo would keep coming back. Of course, roots can be good too. They also mean that even if the surface growth is destroyed, roots can ensure a return of the plant. Nations have roots as well. In America, we have some great ones. Take this one, for example. It is impossible to rightly govern a nation without God in the Bible. That wasn't the opinion of some Bible-thumping preacher. It was the heartfelt belief of our founding father, George Washington. That statement is no-frilled and straightforward, a simple idea, but full of implication for a society that has largely forgotten our roots. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty from Christian Life Church. Visit us on the web at ChristianLifeColumbia.com or join us in Sunday worship. Remember, friends, life matters, and so do you. Go to CLColumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Football season is almost here.
An outdoor space to watch the game at home with friends would be awesome.
We've got the yard for it. Let's call Architect. Their initial design consultation is free.
We can build a kitchen with a bar, a big screen TV, and infrared heaters for year-round enjoyment. Let's call Architect.
From decks to outdoor living spaces, if you can dream it, Architect can build it. Call 803-784-1566 for a free initial design consultation. Architect of Central South Carolina, 803-784-1566.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit LawyerLisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Honey, you need a trust.
This summer, say goodbye to dust and call Zerust Air Duct Cleaning to keep your home insanely clean. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to save 15% off your next service. Use promo code Summer Sale when scheduling online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Hey, this is Matt Rogers from Hazelwood Brewing Company, the town of Lexington's premier brewery, taproom, and beer garden, conveniently located right on Main Street. Live music, food trucks, and a rotating selection of 10 award-winning handcrafted beers, plus a selection of wine, cider, and beer slushies. Check out HazelwoodBeerCo.com and follow on social media for a current list of what's happening. HazelwoodBeerCo.com. Hazelwood, it's all good in the wood.
The Craft Beer Passport. It's not just any beer, it's a craft beer. Make that 2 choice craft beers at 17 fine breweries. It's a value of $285 and you pay just $79. That's 38 beers for $79. It's not just any deal, it's a sweet deal. The Craft Beer Passport. You'll find it at 1075thegame.com.
Trucks, we want trucks.
New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at herndonchevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we keep on this morning, we have not seen much in the way with confirmed collisions, major backups, or problems on our heavily traveled roadways and interstates. But due to in part of the rain that will be around this morning, just want to make sure you are being a little extra cautious, courteous to your fellow motorists out on the roads. And of course, just being mindful of damp road conditions. For anything major that pops up, we'll be sure to keep you posted later this morning. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Schiavaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
7:52 on a Monday morning. Highlights up there of Victor Wembanyama last night. 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks in his second Summer League game. It was impressive, but I want to get into this in the next hour with Preston because I've watched 2 games of his. And it's not that he's a bad player. You know, people want to say, "Oh, he's just a young kid. Don't pick on him just yet. He's fine." It's just the hype, right? Like the hype around him, this unicorn of a human being. He's supposed to be all world. He's supposed to be the next LeBron. It's kind of unfair. It really is truthfully unfair to him. Yao Ming was really good. Like,
yeah, because somebody in another group chat said that it was like, well, I just see Yao Ming. I was like, if he's Yao Ming, the Spurs, I think, would be happy with that, right?
Yes.
So I just want to be clear about that because I think it's obviously before the injuries. I know he was obviously all-star. He was doing very well, and he was playing center during the time when big men were playing actually in the paint. So Yao Ming was very good.
It's just you don't associate Yao Ming with being what I would say is the elite number one overall pick. And then this kid is supposed to be a freak of nature and is just supposed to dominate the league for years to come. We'll see. We'll also get it because Gigi Jackson has done some nice things for Memphis so far. I'm kind of intrigued by the direction Gigi Jackson will continue to go. 803-404-6100. I don't know how to pronounce this properly. Bobby goes along the lines of what I want to hear from you. He says, I went to I can't remember how you pronounce it.
Highlight.
Yeah. Thank you. Highlight match when I lived in South Florida. Still don't know what was happening. I agree with it. Look,
they throw balls fast.
Yes.
That's all I know.
With something.
With a stick, racket,
with
contraption.
Something, yes. Mm-hmm. What have you got? What was your sport there?
The Georgia Gym Dogs.
What?
I don't know if you're familiar.
The gymnastics?
Yes. I went to a meet.
Really?
Yes. I had no idea what I was walking into. Obviously, my wife is involved in gymnastics, and they took some of the gymnasts down there, and we went to the meet. It was the SEC meet. I believe it wasn't Florida. It was versus LSU.
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Intense. Just so much. If you take a track meet, you know how a track meet has all types of different things happening
going on. Yeah,
it's the same sort of concept at this gymnastics meet. There's people flipping, there's people running, there's music going, there's dancing, cheers, smoke. There's a DJ.
Whoa!
It was a phenomenal event. I had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh, that's a 10. Clearly, right? She just flipped and landed. That's got to be a 10. And my wife was like, well, she didn't hold her point her toes or her knees weren't together, whatever. Everything looked like a 10. I would recommend it 100%.
Okay.
A great event. The
I
Georgia
could
Dim
see
Dogs.
that.
It was so much fun. The DJ's playing music and in between the people are running, there's flipping. Awesome event. I had no idea what was happening the whole time. They're keeping score. People are holding signs. Bill, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Okay.
It was tremendous, though. I just didn't know what was going on.
I would think that the other one that I would, just because I've seen it on television late at night, but also when Austin goes to soccer practice, there's a field kind of next to it. Cricket. I've never figured out what's happening.
It's
there.
just a long. Cricket's just very long. You could be there
Apparently.
for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours,
Really?
10 hours.
Looks
I
like
think
they're
it's
just
like
using
multiple
a
days, isn't it?
fraternity
Yeah, you could
paddle.
just go for the whole days and you could be watching the cricket match.
But I don't know what's happening in it.
They throw the ball and you hit it.
Then what happens?
You run.
A
you
wicket
touch.
involved.
There's a
and whole
wicket.
bunch of things.
It's a lot of interesting things. But Bill, I will say this: Gym Dogs.
Okay,
It's phenomenal.
There you go.
I had no idea what was happening the whole time.
Thorns, Buds, and Roses coming up next. It's the early game. 107.5 the game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is defensive lineman Alex Hunley, and you're listening to Home of the Gamecocks 107.5 the game.
A Cumulus media station.
Fresh produce is the best produce. That's why at Kroger, we invest in local farmers to bring you the freshest seasonal picks. So no matter how you shop, your local produce always tastes 100% fresh, or you get a 100% refund, guaranteed. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Our summer festival continues with a special deal on delicious boneless pork loin. It's just $1.49 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. Is it time for a new lawn? You need to start with a smooth grade done right. Then a must is a new Rainbird irrigation system that comes complete with a 1-year warranty. We will then help you know what turf is right for your yard. Tipped Up Bermuda is a great turf for full sun. Then let the pros maintain your whole property and keep your new grass green and healthy and weed-free. At Midlands Landscape and Lawns, we hate weeds. So that's why you can find us at hateweeds.com. Hateweeds.com.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me.
Soar into a celebration 50 years in the making at Carowinds this season with the launch of Aeronautica Landing, a brand new immersive area that captures the excitement and adventure of aviation and the Carolinas' ties to its past, present, and future. Take off with 5 new rides, gaming area, and aviation-themed food and drink. Or experience a firework and drone show like you've never seen at our nighttime spectacular.
Right now, get tickets for just $39.99 at Carowinds.com. Carowinds, for the fun of it.
On sale now at Columbia's newest swing suite. Pro Swing Columbia in Chapin. Get a 1-hour session, normally $50 for just $25. Play course favorites like Harbor Town and Pebble Beach in the Midland's most advanced golf simulator. Online now at 1075thegame.com.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
54 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee.
I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com.
Find new roads. what you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. There are lots of places to buy your next ride, but there is no place like Love Chevy, where you never pay more than MSRP, ever. Come by and feel the difference of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game
with Bill Gunter.
Eli the Golden Eagle hatched out of his papier-mâché egg on November 17th, 1993, before the start of an exhibition basketball game. Exhibition.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne and Jen Jensen.
Game.
Exhibition.
I got it the first time.
I appreciate Preston so much.
Wow.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know. What happened?
107.5 The Game.
Be safe out there as you venture out on this, what is turning into a very wet Monday morning. Jen giving me a weather update. Jen and I, at some point over the last 10 days, were texting back and forth, and we were comparing our amateur meteorologist ability. We agreed. I think it was based on the Chicago race that you and I are pretty good meteorologists.
Yeah, we are.
Of course, we also subscribe to the theory of just turning and looking out the window and being like, it's raining outside.
Yep, we're pretty good. I am definitely good at that. And then I have a rain gauge, so I can give you official stats.
It's true. Yes. Rain
gauge.
It's
back.
Deer whistles, rain gauges.
And I'll tell you, I should tomorrow, because I'm going to head out a little bit early here, and Tyler's going to be in a minute. But I'll have to show you tomorrow a little text thread with my sisters while I was up there. They both live in that area. And it was like, hey, the rain last night, we got a half inch. Somebody else said we got 0.3 of an inch. I mean, that's just
what it
how
is.
we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. The family's back. Jen's going to leave. She's got something she's got to do, but we're back. We're back for the next few weeks before one more vacation before we get ready for football season. We've been talking this morning about a lot of different things, from Bob Huggins to Jen's trip to Chicago for the street race. We've also talked some college football, South Carolina. We'll continue talking a little bit about that. I've got a poll question out. You can go to Twitter at Will, W-I-L, Gunter, G-U-N-T-E-R, and you can vote or you can weigh in on our Firehouse Subs text line. What is your biggest concern in 2023 right now for the Gamecocks? Stopping the run, running the football, new offensive coordinator, or just simply the schedule? You can go and vote on that. There's been some other college football news, and we will get to that here in just a second. There's a lot to cover from a weekend that was actually, Preston, pretty busy. So thorns, buds, and roses, covering multiple topics now here with, I think we've got the intro too as well. I always do the intro, but then there's an actual intro. Here's Preston Thorns, Buds, and Roses.
It's time for Thorns, Buds, and Roses with Preston Thorne on the early game. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Bill. It's good to be back in the room with you for TBRs. We're here. We're back. And we got some massive thorns.
Oh, boy.
Lou Holtz once told us that hazing is for losers. Okay. And how could you be hazed by a bunch of people who are losing anyway? And so Lou did not get a lot right because he was often wrong. But he got hazing right. We had a strict no hazing policy at the University of South Carolina while Lou Holtz was there because he didn't think it promoted team culture. It's just not going to be successful. And usually when you see teams that are really steeped in hazing, they are probably not very good. It just doesn't work like that. So we're talking about the most recent accusations against the University of Northwestern's football team. They have some very serious hazing accusations. If you haven't read the reports, if you would like to go read them, they're pretty disturbing to say the least. Most of the things we can't even mention here on morning radio.
Right.
But here's the thing. We're not just talking about, cutting a freshman's hair, maybe making somebody carry your pads. That's regular, everyday stuff. That happens. That's part of the game. We all understand that. What we're talking about here under the leadership of Pat Fitzgerald is pretty egregious. And it's a thorn in my side because it doesn't work, one, and it doesn't help as an environment to promote team culture. So all of you at Northwestern, you're supposed to be the smart guys. You're supposed to be the smart folks. You you're not acting like that. It's a thorn in my side. We're waiting to see how the story develops, but I got a feeling there's going to be more reporting here that's going to be coming, and it's not going to be great. So, Northwestern, you're a thorn in my side for right now. Buds, Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, goodness.
We have another budding superstar in Major League Baseball. If you haven't heard, he's the third baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. He hits for power. He plays with speed. He's incredibly tall. Do you know how tall he is?
6'5", I think.
6'5".
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he has a twin brother who's 5'8", which
that sucks.
Which is weird. He just, yeah. I wonder how his twin brother looks at him like, man, I drew the wrong card,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, identical twins, which is so strange.
Well, it's easy to tell them apart then.
Yes. Yeah, you just look at the
There's
tall version and the mini
they
version.
They can't pull what the Thompson brothers did in the NBA where they trick each other.
Correct. He's tall. He was accused of cheating, and then he promptly smashed the home run because they said he had the cork bat. He didn't. He's made over-the-shoulder basket catches. He hit for the cycle bill.
Yeah.
And now this weekend, he did something that we may never see again. He stole second base. He stole third base. And then he stole home. We don't see that very
Now
often.
he's stealing our hearts.
He's there. I
Yeah,
like,
you like that.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
This guy is pretty electric to watch, man. And even as much as we talk about baseball, stealing home and the triple play are still exciting.
Okay.
More so than the perfect game.
Okay.
If we see somebody steal home or you see a team turn a triple play, still gets you going. It's still really exciting. Ellie De La Cruz is budding. Watch out for him. The Cincinnati Reds are playing well. They got a good thing going there. Roses, Bill, I need 10.82 roses.
8.2.
10.82.
10.82.
Mhm.
10.82. So somebody did something in a fast.
Sha'Carri Richardson, she's back. She won the U.S. 100-meter championship with a record time of 10.82 in the 100 meters. If you don't remember Sha'Carri, 2 years ago, she got in trouble for marijuana. She tested positive for marijuana. They vacated her title.
Okay.
In 2021, she said that she wasn't ready at the time. She was 21 years old, and she got punished. And she should have been punished because she broke the rules. It was the right call. That's what was supposed to happen. But this is how punishments are supposed to go, Bill. You're supposed to get punished, take your medicine, you go back, and you come back as a better person. She's obviously come back. This is ideally how it should work. Sha'Carri is a star. She's going to be around for a while. She's going to be pushing some of the Jamaicans as far as the 100-meter dash in the world championships. So Sha'Carri's back. She's won the U.S. 100 meters. Bill, what do you think your 100-meter time is right now, sir?
I have a knee brace on this morning. We're still dealing.
I
Popped the meniscus again in my knee 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go with slow to incredibly slow.
10.82 was Sha'Carri's time. And even better than the time before the race, if you watch the video, she does it in dramatic fashion. She gets to the line, snatches off her wig, throws it to the side, runs a 10.82.
Bit of intimidation there.
Bit of beautiful gamesmanship. It was tremendous.
Okay.
Shout out to you, Sha'Carri. Bill, those are thorns, buds, and roses for the week.
I'm with you on the thorn, man. This is if it was Northwestern, I'd probably be like, oh, that's awful and disgusting and fire whomever. For some reason, and I don't know what your recollection of Pat Fitzgerald has been or how you viewed him, that's what strikes me about this. Now, I have a hard time, Preston, look, in the recruiting world that I started in this industry, and the degree of a coach kind of passing the buck so that they know nothing, right? Oh, I heard this a lot. Like coaches, the old saying back in 2008, 2009, I'm sure it still is, I need players. To win, we need players. However you get them, I don't want to hear about. Mm-hmm. And I heard many assistant coach in the hospitality suite say stuff like this, where they'd be like, yeah, it's a level of the coach doesn't know, but he does know.
Mm-hmm.
Plausible
deniability.
Now you go about your locker room, and this is one thing that his awed me. I don't know another word, like how Shane Beamer has been able to have the pulse of the locker room, because after South Carolina got beat by Texas A&M his first year, I think we were all like, oh, this thing's about to fall apart. And somehow Shane Beamer had the pulse of his locker room, and rallied them together, and they blitzed Florida, and they beat Auburn. They lost that Missouri game, but they get to a bowl. And then last year, you get beat the manner you do. You get beaten the way you do in Gainesville, and you come back, and somehow you have the pulse of your locker room. You seem to know what's going on, and your message is getting through them, and you win, you beat Tennessee, and you beat Clemson the manner you do. That's knowing your locker room. I don't know how Lou Holtz was, like, what was happening in that locker room with y'all. As you said, strict no hazing policy.
I mean, strict.
But there
no
had to
hazing
be
policy.
other stuff going on. You got 85
There's
guys.
There's always things going on in the locker room. Everything that the coach doesn't know about. But what probably needs to happen, and what's shocking to me about the accusations from the reporting, is that these guys had lists going around. They had things posted on bulletin boards in the locker room, and it doesn't take the head coach walking through the locker room. That's why you have assistants. That's why you have GAs. That's why you just have people sort of figuring out what's happening. And a lot of times us as adults, we get lost on what's going on with the teenagers, but you'll see them doing some goofy something or another. And you're like, what are y'all doing? Why is everybody laughing? Or what's actually going on? And they may not tell you the truth. So maybe you have to dig a little bit more, whatever the case is. This just seemed to be, from the reporting, as if the coaches either didn't know, didn't care, or were complicit in what was happening. I would like to think that they weren't complicit in it. That's what I would like to think. So I'm going to take that off the table. But I still think it's a fireable offense if you didn't know or didn't care to investigate.
There's a lot going on with this. A lot of anonymous sources talking to ESPN, talking to different reporters. That's one thing I don't like when it's anonymous. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, the thing about anonymity is a tough word to say. The thing about that is they have to be anonymous for fear of retribution, for fear of somebody getting back at them. Now, does that obviously lead towards maybe some people not being truthful? It could, but in situations like this, they might feel as if they can't necessarily say what they want to say.
There is another layer to this where a current player, again, speaking anonymously, has said that, follow me, because again, I can't use names because they're not there. Everybody's anonymous except for Fitzgerald and the academic board here and the athletic board who's handling all this. The anonymous player who came forward with this allegation spoke, and he's a former player, spoke with an anonymous player who is currently on the team. The player that is currently on the team has said that the person who started this has been out to get Pat Fitzgerald fired. This is a quote off of ESPN.com. This is the current player saying that none of this happened. None of this has happened. All this is false. He says that the player who turned in Pat Fitzgerald and started this, he just kept emphasizing, yeah, it'll be okay. I'm just trying to get Coach Fitz fired. The current player telling ESPN, I don't think he ever acknowledged what he is saying is not true. It was just like, I might embellish or exaggerate to get Coach Fitz fired. He said his sole goal was to see Coach Fitz rot in jail.
Okay. Well, that's not going to happen. So if that's your sole goal, that's not going to end up, that's not going to happen. That's why you have to let the reporting take its place. You have to let the investigations go. Well, the university has reopened the case because they've, in the light of new findings and seeing what is come along. What I will say is that I did see, former Gamecock connection, I saw Ryan Holinsky post something about how his involvement with Coach Fitzgerald has always been on the up and up, and he's been a great man to him. And that's fine. But we all have to understand is that just because I have friends, cousins who are in jail for breaking the law in bad ways, and they were great to me. That doesn't mean that they weren't menaces to society or doing things that were not on the up and up everywhere else. So just because you have a personal relationship with somebody and they've been good to you does not mean what they have done on the greater whole is. So that's where it gets really tricky.
It's going to be interesting because you now have, I think, the more and more you see is current players coming to the defense of their coach against this former player. And did this player get wronged? I mean, again, we don't know his name, but did this player get wronged, or did something happen where he has decided to go after his coach in a day and age where we take this stuff? And again, how Preston worked, you can go read the article on ESPN or really anywhere. It's graphic. But we take this stuff very seriously.
Yeah.
And when these allegations come up, that's what happens. We'll get back into that. I want to get into some NBA Summer League stuff. Gigi Jackson's been really good so far. We'll talk about that. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, and now Tyler Head is
What's up,
Jen
Tyler?
Jensen. His runoff, it was 2 hours. 2 hours was enough for her on a vacation. So we're Tyler stepping in to carry us through. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
We are very social.
At 1075 The Game on Twitter, 1075 The Game on Instagram, and 1075 The Game on Facebook.
Oh, Teddy, did you get my friend request? Oh, I'll have to check.
Your home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Weather Guard Truck Boxes. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth Weather Guard. My Athlete of the Weekend award goes to Cincinnati's phenom, Ellie De La Cruz. On Saturday, he became the first player of more than a half a century to steal second, third, and home in the same inning. Actually, he only needed 2 pitches to accomplish this amazing feat. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
WeatherGuard, the name that stands for unmatched security in truck boxes, is now making a name for itself on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites, WeatherGuard truck boxes feature double welded seams, weather-tight seals, and high-security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has big savings on everything you need for school. And right now, save up to $250 on select computers at Staples. School savings are always in session. In-store only. Offer ends July 29th. See an associate for details. School on, save on at Staples.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
54 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy. Home of the $1,000 low price guarantee.
I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com.
Find new roads.
Harry Ford, 107.5 The Game with my buddy Adam Vance from Sound and Images. Now, Adam wanted to come in, not so much talk about how great Sound and Images is as a business, wanted to address the cufflink controversy of you walking around with your initials on your shirts.
Terry, yes. I do have to address the cufflink issue. And yes, I would appreciate it if you went to soundandimages.net. We've got great commercial audiovisual products for you all day long. My man Paul McKeon, Tom James, I order some shirts. They come with initials. I come in here, I do a spoof, I do a spiff, whatever you call it.
It's a spot. That's
spot.
okay. It's okay.
It's your world, boss. I do that, and then all of a sudden I get all this grief. I'm walking down the street. I'm going into, you name the store, and all these people are talking about my cufflinks. So now I'm getting my socks monogrammed. I've got my napkins, paper towel, you name it. Thanks, Terry.
Sound and Images, Adam Vance. If you want to reach out to Adam Vance, just go to soundandimages.net or call 803-791-3925.
Making a difference in the lives of children and families brings a feeling of satisfaction that is unmatched. You may be just the person to help them to a brighter tomorrow. Answer the call and learn more about becoming a child welfare case manager at dss.sc.gov. There, you will find qualifications needed and information about salary and benefits available. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
All right, everybody, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we've looked around the region on our traffic map, there have not been anything with confirmed collisions or major backups are heavily traveled roadways and interstates. But still, as rain continues to roll through the region, some embedded downpours here and there, just want to make sure you are driving with a little more caution out there, being careful with some damp roadways as we continue on. Anything major changes, we'll of course be sure to let you know as we continue on here. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Chiavaroli. Make it a safe travel day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Old man rants taking place in here, semi-related to Northwestern, but more to do with just Preston and I's just intolerance now of social media.
Listen, man, at some point the youth are going to do something that you don't understand, and it's your job as an adult to just say, "What are y'all doing? What is this? Why are y'all laughing? Did I say something? Is there a new word that y'all are using? Why is everybody giggling?" That was basically my life as a high school teacher. What is happening here? What is going on?
Tyler, did you get into? Have you started Threads? The Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's gonna defeat Twitter. Not to go down I'm not going down a political rant here, but like Threads is gonna. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not thrilled about this situation either. I'm like, great, now I got another app on my phone that I've got to follow.
I've already told you.
Did you get into Threads this week?
Yeah, so I made an account just because if Twitter ends up going under, at least I have something there. I've yet to post anything on it. It's funny because like it's connected to Instagram. So
Right.
you like go to Instagram, you make your account off that. But like most of the people that follow me on Instagram don't follow me on Twitter. It's almost like a completely separate personality I have over there.
It's like, it's like you got your school friends and you got your
Exactly.
neighborhood church friends. You got different sets of friends.
Exactly. So like I got to build up a whole new repertoire on Threads if that becomes a thing.
And I'm tired and I'm old and I don't feel like doing that. Like,
And it's like, what if my Instagram was just dedicated to me taking pictures of sandwiches or
Yeah.
something?
Well,
I don't want to bring the sports people over here with this. This is a totally different, separate part of my personality.
That's kind of how I got. I get the Threads thing. I again ended up down a path with this. I don't know, user. I don't know what you want to call it, but whatever. Hey Grill Hey, and it's like just tips on how to smoke food or like recipes. I was telling Preston earlier, like yesterday. The person who put it out had a recipe for what's called resting butter, and I started reading. I was like, "Oh, that sounds pretty good. I might want to get into that. Oh, I should do that." And then I realized last night, as I went to do it, I had not thawed out the chicken.
Oh no!
So it was frozen. So my daughter was like, "All right, it looks like we're doing frozen lasagna tonight, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing." But yeah, I don't feel like going down this path, and I don't know what I'm supposed to put on Twitter. Or I feel like I have to incorporate some personal, hey, hanging out tonight, having a bourbon and grilling. That's not interesting. Nobody cares about that.
I know this. It's over for me. If this
Had enough?
if Twitter doesn't work, it's a wrap.
Right.
It's over.
Yeah.
This is me. This is what I'm just gonna go down with the ship, playing the violin, just like the Titanic. I'll be going down.
I've cut my Twitter usage way back, to where Tyler, you're the youngest of this group. What's your social media? You got Instagram, you got Snapchat. What's another one?
I have the big three: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I don't think I've posted on Instagram in over a year.
Yeah.
The last thing I did on Facebook was just acknowledge people that wish me happy birthday. I don't post on there. Twitter's about the only thing that I really do. And I'm kind of with Preston. If it goes under, I don't know how engaged I'm going to be with Threads.
Maybe secretly, I'm actually hoping for it to go under, and so I could just break my addiction to social media totally, and then I could just be free.
So, and obviously for the purposes of this job, we have to use Twitter and be on social media a lot. Last Monday, since we didn't have a show on Monday and weren't working on Tuesday, I made it a point to stay off social media the entire day. It's fantastic.
Congratulations.
As we say this, I get a notification from Threads on my phone. Let's see if I can see what it is real quick here. Yeah, it comes. I don't know. You're right. This drives me absolutely crazy with what it is, but I've started that. And so
the genesis of the old man rant was essentially there were some details in the Northwestern reporting that the players had a specific clapping motion that they did amongst a certain player who was supposed to be targeted for their alleged hazing. And all I was saying to Bills during the break is that that's always a thing that happens amongst teams. Teams get certain words that they start using, or because what it is that young people have to try and figure out a way to talk so that the old people don't know what they're saying. And your job, especially as the person who is older, is when you hear something weird or you see something that doesn't seem right, or you see them laughing at something that's not supposed to be laughable, or they all keep doing some stupid thing, see what's going on. Find the goody two shoes on the team to let them know, or
plant a mold.
Plant a mold.
That won't divide the team at all.
Listen, you got to figure out what's going on. Ask somebody or do some studying. Now you can go to the internet, find out. I'm just telling you, because I'm not saying that, like I said, I'm not saying that they knew or they didn't know, but when these things start happening, it's your responsibility to figure out what's going on.
When you say they, to go back to this Northwestern thing, I think part of it is you've got, I don't know what is it, 11 coaches? Is that right? 12 counting a head coach?
It's an army. If you go over to South Carolina's practice, there's 50 people on staff.
Well, that's what I said, but there's 11. Is it 11 coaches plus the head coach, 12 like coaches,
Correct.
not when you start getting into analyst and Luke Day, the strength and conditioning coach, and his army of people.
Yes.
And I guess that's my point. Like, what is the responsibility of an assistant coach to be like, hey, Pat, got a situation here. We might want to, like, where does it, because that's where I would draw the lines. Be like, you telling me all these assistant coaches didn't know, or all of them turned a blind eye to the situation?
Right. And it's hard to believe either one, right? I would assume that everybody didn't turn a blind eye, but I would also assume that somebody knew something was going on. They might have chalked it up. A lot of times he might have dismissed it as maybe they thought it was a little bit more innocent than it might have been, according to the reporting. I must have to say that. But yeah, it is because it's not, here the issue is this. It's not the head coach's, it's not his thing that he's not walking through the locker room or everything like that, because he has all of those upper levels. However, the responsibility of it does fall on him.
I will also just say this, and you've been in the locker room, and you mentioned what Lou Holtz said when he got here, that we wouldn't do that, that losers pays. I at least as we sit here on July 10th at 8:28, have a lot of respect for Pat Fitzgerald and what he has done at Northwestern and how he's built that program. If this was going on, and there's a part in this article that this anonymous former player says that since 2020, he has seen Pat Fitzgerald make this clapping motion, which is what he would do if a player messed up in a practice. Pat Fitzgerald would basically kind of signal to this group called the Shrek Gang that he had on the team. Again, it's all read it. I'm not going to mention what was done, but Pat Fitzgerald would clap, and this specifically implicates Pat Fitzgerald as having known or knowing what's going on. And I want to go back to your point, because Preston, here's something else. I think Pat Fitzgerald's a smart guy. In 2019, Northwestern was 3-9, 1-8 in conference. In 2020, the COVID year, they did have a good year, 7-2, 6-1. In 2021, they were 3-9 and 1-8 in conference. And in this past season, I didn't realize this until I just looked. Ryan Helinski was there. Maybe I should have paid better attention. This past season, do you know what Northwestern's record was?
Bad.
Well, that's an understatement. They were 1-11.
Yeah.
So 3 out of the last 4 years, not counting the COVID season, they've had 2 3-9s and a 1-11, and 3 of the last 4, they are 3-24 in conference. And you go, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that have? It's because, going back to your point, like, if I'm Pat Fitzgerald and I see this hazing going on and I see my results less, don't you think at some point Pat Fitzgerald's smart enough? I mean, don't you think he's smart enough to go, we might have a culture problem here. We should probably change what we're doing and go back to or have they been doing this since 2006 and nobody knew anything about it?
You don't know and that's where we always talk about the buzzword of culture. What does culture mean? What is team culture? We think it's overplayed, but it's not. regardless of what true of the reporting has been done, it's pretty clear that Northwestern does not have a very solid locker room culture. Even if you took it at bare minimum of what we're talking about here, they don't have a solid locker room culture. And what happens is losers assemble in crowds, man. If we're all going to be misery, we're not playing any good football. At least we can do these things to make everybody's life miserable because nobody's happy here. So there's a lot, there is a lot of things that Lou Holtz did that was questionable, that was probably on the borderline of not great, unacceptable today. I will say that. But what he did was he implemented a strict no hazing policy. And his was from both a moral and a practical standpoint. From the moral standpoint, he just says, man, that's not a good way to welcome somebody into your culture. From a practical standpoint, man, if we're trying to recruit these good freshmen to come in, why are we going to be punishing them for just because they're actually good? You want to bring good people onto your team and join and help you rise up. So that was something that was very strictly implemented on our teams from day one.
One other thing I'm trying to pull it up very quickly because I didn't think about it until just now in terms of where we are in college football. But with the transfer portal, I'm going to go back and look and see this offseason maybe how many transfers Northwestern has had, because if you see 15, 16 guys going, I don't like this culture, I don't like being here, I don't like what's happening, then yeah, you go, maybe there's a problem. On the flip side of that, if only 2 or 3 guys are transferring out, do you then say,
maybe that's not what it is?
So I'll dig into that. I actually was able to find theirs. I'll pull it up.
What I'm sorry to cut you. What I would like to know is, under the basis of what the university found, why did they say that there was need for a 2-week suspension, and how did they settle on that time?
We'll get into that a little bit more. Get into some summer league GG Jackson stuff as we continue rolling along. Let me remind you, summer break finally here. It's time to lay out by the pool, maybe soak up some sun. And most importantly, you don't need to worry about cleaning your home. That's why you need to call my great friends at Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning, and you're in luck. If you call them and mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you can save 15% off your next service. That's exactly right. You heard it right. 15% off. Use the promo code Summer Sale if you're scheduling online, ZerustColumbia.com. Or again, if you give them a phone call, 803-262-4020, mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. You'll save 15% off your next service. So don't worry about cleaning the home. Let the pros at Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning do it for you today with their patented ZR Water technology. Again, 803-262-4020. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you'll save 15% off your next service. Or if you use the online way to schedule, ZerustColumbia.com, use the promo code Summer Sale. Zerust, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean. We'll get back into this Northwestern story, little GG Jackson. When we come back, you're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Hey, it's me again with another update. We've got our bleeping main transmitter back. Let over the top. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm going to ratchet it down a hair. That means you can get back to hearing 107.5 The Game the way you used to. But feel free to continue using the 107.5 The Game app. Either way, no charge whatsoever. We also want to say thank you for your patience and your understanding as we went through all this. I mean, I almost cussed. I almost lost it as we went through this technical ordeal. I can only imagine how you felt. Seriously, we appreciate you, our loyal listener, from your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Just how does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sunneth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs. Well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you became a customer? Give them a call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at SunnethAuto.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
Swim season is here. That means making sure your pool is ready to be used. Call Corley Pool Solutions today. 803-445-8109. Let Tracy Corley, with over 20 years of experience, help maintain your pool and have it ready to use this afternoon. Give them a phone call, 803-445-8109. Corley Pool Solutions will treat and maintain your pool, and they'll do it all for a flat rate price, including all of the chemicals. Call Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Can you imagine being a superhero?
With a sidekick?
Can you imagine you can fly?
Your sidekick shows up wherever you are.
In a fancy blue truck.
And whatever you point at disappears.
1-800-GOT-JUNK is your sidekick.
We're twitching in anticipation.
Vibrating with energy.
We haul away whatever you point at.
Any home or apartment.
Workplace or job site.
We're industrial strength sidekicks.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, this is Nathan and Ray with Pope Davis Tire and Automotive.
Ready for some tire deals that are hot, hot, hot.
Pope Davis has space melting deals like the top 16-inch size for only $60 and the top 20-inch size for only $150.
Those scorching hot prices are entirely too low.
And if rolling down the windows doesn't do the trick, we can save you money on AC repairs to make you cool.
We make tire buying easy online at PopeDavisTire.com.
Spring is here. Time to get those spring projects started. But before you stick that shovel in the ground, remember to always call or click SC811 before you dig. South Carolina 811 is a call before you dig service that you can use to have your underground utilities marked at no cost to you. Simply call 811 or visit SC811.com and submit a locate request. Wait 3 full business days, excluding weekends and holidays. After that, you're free to dig. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig. Sponsored by South Carolina 811, SCBA, and this station.
Let me tell you something. Galliana Chrysler Jeep is doing something that will really pump you up. It's the Summer of Jeep event, and Galliana Chrysler Jeep is going to terminate your current car payment. Even if you have months left or still owe thousands, it's going to blow your mind how much Galliana will give you for your old car. You're not going to believe it. You can lease a new Jeep Compass Latitude for just $12,200. That's right, a new Jeep Compass for $12,200. And you still get the Jeep Wave, including 3 oil changes and 3 tire rotations. Attention military personnel, Galliana Chrysler Jeep has a special $2,000 military rebate on select models just for you. So go now to Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone, I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Code 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com.
Compass stock number 39004, 24-month, 20,000-mile, one-pay lease, $12,200 due at signing, plus tax tag and $489 closing fee. No security deposit, negative equity, financed, and new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
Gotta go to Galliana.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
All right, everybody, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we've looked around the region on our traffic map, there have not been anything with confirmed collisions or major backups are heavily traveled roadways and interstates, but still, as rain continues to roll through the region, some embedded downpours here and there, just want to make sure you are driving with a little more caution out there, being careful with some damp roadways as we continue on. Anything major changes, we'll of course be sure to let you know as we continue on here. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Schiaparoli. Make it a safe travel day.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 107.5 The Game.
8:40 on a rainy Monday morning. Be safe out there as you're heading into work or wherever you may be off to today. Just travel safely. Tyler and Colin got you covered from 9 to 12. Jay and Terry from 12. Is everybody working this week, Tyler? Does that seem right? Do you have any idea?
So Jay and Heath are not here this week.
Yeah, figures. Slackers. We go to Nashville next week, and Jay and Heath take this week off. Seems about right for who I get to hang out with. The Wolfpack in Nashville. That now Heath Klein is our food guru.
Okay.
When we go, like Heath, I can promise Heath is going to have kind of an obscure barbecue place that I shouldn't say. Sometimes like Fox Brothers, that's not obscure in Atlanta, but
certain places you just have to hit those.
Yeah, like there was a place that in Birmingham. It was actually a really good seafood place. Nice, and it was expensive and stuff. I don't know. It was a local place. It's not a chain. Relatively local, but Heath knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's my simple rule for travel. Is if I have to eat somewhere I could not eat in Columbia.
Yeah,
it's real simple.
So when we go up next week, Heath will have us geared. He got very, I don't know if angry is the right word, but Heath gets annoyed, as you've noticed, rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I'm just there to hang out and kind of party a little bit. I mean, like, do what I need to do in the morning. Food is like not my biggest thing when I go on the road like that. I like to have a good meal or two, but he gets very annoyed. Like if we're just going to get pizza.
I get it. I get it, man.
He gets after like 2 days, he's just like, all right, fine. We'll just go down to get this slice of pizza somewhere. Like, yeah, it's cool by me. I'm good with it. Like, gotta get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't have time to eat a big meal and try and survive bright and early in the morning. So
Heath wants to make it everything an experience. Part of the story.
Yeah, he just likes to hang out. Mm-hmm. So but we'll do that. All right. So Jay and Heath off. So you got Tyler and Colin coming up here in the next 3 hours. Terry Ford, and then I have no clue what we're doing from 3 to 6, but we'll have something fun for you to listen to throughout the week. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in this morning. Back to this just finishing up this Northwestern thing. Preston and I looked it up. According to 24/7 Sports, since November, Northwestern has had 8 players transfer out. Preston, 8 players. One of which is a quarterback who has not found a home. He transferred in February. One player transferred to a wide receiver. Transferred to Coastal Carolina. One player transferred to Texas State. One defensive lineman transferred to Missouri. Another cornerback transferred to Tulane. And I believe this is going to be Missouri State or Arkansas State. Another linebacker transferred to Arkansas State. And then a kid transferred to Virginia. 8 transfers. You and I both kind of like,
that's not especially egregious.
Like
in this day and age today, that seems about right.
That's something that I think you kind of look for with this little thing, or kids mass transferring out because the culture is so bad, or these things happening in the locker room is so bad that kids don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, so that doesn't indicate that's the numbers don't indicate that right now.
We'll continue to monitor, watch the situation, discuss a little bit more. Again, you can go and read it if you want more detail. I agree with Preston, not really a morning radio show friendly. I guess what do you want to say? The locker room, what the hazing is, what it is not what I would say is morning show friendly to mention on air. But you can go to ESPN.com and read about what the allegations are. Their widespread hazing within the program at Northwestern. Again, I'll let you go and read that real quick. Gigi Jackson back on the court tonight. Preston, I've been following this. I have either have no life, very possible right now. There's no Sports Zone, or I'm just thoroughly invested in the NBA Summer League and watching Victor Wembanyama. And I've been keeping up with Gigi Jackson. His stats right now through 3 games: 15 of 36 from the field, 8 of 18 from three-point range, 42 total points, 14 rebounds. Again, he's back on the court tonight. He's got a long way to go, but I've seen things that I think would make or is going to make the Memphis Grizzlies very happy with that selection at 45.
So I haven't seen him. In watching the games, does he look as if he belongs?
Yes. Yes. With that being said, there is going to have to be some, what I would say, body language. There's some things that I see as a carryover from South Carolina that he needs to grow up.
So that still
that
has
I
to
don't
happen.
think is going to be tolerated by what we'll say is true NBA players when you make a roster. I'll tell you a little bit about that. I'll give you a little bit more of a breakdown because he looks, he looks like an NBA player. And he's done a few things where I've been like, could have done that at South Carolina and maybe upped your stock a little bit. But I've been impressed so far. They play 6 o'clock tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers on ESPN News. We'll talk a little bit more about this and wrap up the program, give you the results of the football poll question of the day. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey DQ fans, do you love cake batter? Well, cue the confetti because the new Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat is here with cake batter flavor, confetti cookie dough pieces, and DQ signature sprinkles in every bite. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard a ad for John Ecton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after the reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are the Gant girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate. For the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
That pool party was a blast, but now your house is a mess. Call Zerust Carpet Cleaning right now and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to save 15% off your next cleaning. Use promo code Summer Sale when scheduling online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Do you remember your first Gamecock game? Who you were with and where did you sit? Where did you tailgate? What were you wearing? The idea that all those memories can come flooding back the moment you set foot on campus is real. So this year and every year, come to campus and catch a game. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game. Get your tickets today and catch a game at any time for any sport. Online at GamecocksOnline.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina. South Carolina weather can be a little crazy. Make sure your biggest investment is protected. Call the guys in the powder blue trucks, the Guttermen. They've been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 40 years. Call the Guttermen today at 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the Guttermen.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
All right, everybody, a good Monday morning to you. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. As we've looked around the region on our traffic map, there have not been anything with confirmed collisions or major backups on heavily traveled roadways and interstates, but still, as rain continues to roll through the region, some embedded downpours here and there, just want to make sure you are driving with a little more caution out there, being careful with some damp roadways as we continue on. Anything major changes, we'll, of course, be sure to let you know as we continue on here. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic update. I'm meteorologist Tony Schiaparoli. Make it a safe travel day.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
$8:52 as we wrap up the Monday morning edition. Tony Annan will be in with us on a Wednesday, our radio co-host and part-time soccer coach.
Yep.
I think he's agitated that more people know him from the radio. Like he's like, I should get we should get him a 107.5 The Game shirt.
At least a shirt, some merch.
When he goes on the Gamecock speaking tour, that he can wear his official 107.5 The Game shirt.
He should have some coming up here pretty shortly too. With the season getting ready to start up, there should be some preseason deals coming up.
He is a little over. I'm at about 21 days, about 34 days away, I believe. I'm thinking August 13th, and I could be wrong on that, but is when they open their exhibition season. I believe against North Carolina State. We'll have to go back, but he'll be in on Wednesday. Tomorrow, J.C. Sherbert will catch up. We get recruiting picking up now. This time of season. We'll kind of carry on with some of what we brought up earlier today. The poll question, just a few minutes left. You can go vote on it. A little surprised by this. Preston said, I said, what is your biggest concern for South Carolina football heading into 2023? What is your biggest concern? Stopping the run, running the ball, Dow Loggins, new offense coordinator, or just overall the schedule?
Schedule's last.
Okay.
Schedule's last. I'm going to say running the ball. I'm going to say running the ball because of the factor of the offensive line having to replace a couple of folks, new coach, which could be a positive in that sense, but the lack of clear talent at running back is concerning.
That is probably going to win the vote. That is 44% of the vote right now saying running the football. And obviously, as you just mentioned, big question marks at running back position. Jalen Nichols now appears to be out for the season. I don't know if that's actually been officially announced or how that's being handled. I think I saw Shane Beamer say Jalen Nichols would get to make his own announcement kind of to what he wants to do. But based on the injury in the spring game, sounds like he's out. And obviously we'll see what they do moving forward. You mentioned Lonnie Teasley, who now is officially taking over the offensive line coaching job full-time. He's handled a lot of it for Greg Atkins the last few years as Atkins has dealt with some health issues. But now Lonnie Teasley fully in charge. It's his room. And then I think, how does Dow Loggins scheme up some runs?
That's another good point. Because, again, as a first-year coordinator, maybe if the running game's struggling, would you have a tendency to not call plays that are struggling? Do you have the patience to stay with something that's working? Not saying he doesn't have the know-how, but during the game, what's going to come about that? So a lot of times with the running game, it just takes patience, and it takes a little bit of setting one play up to run another play. And if you're maybe a first-year coordinator and you know you got Spencer back there who can sling it around, maybe you're not going to be as likely to lean on that and maybe just say, I got Spencer, I'm going to use him. So that's just, I'm curious to see how that plays out.
We'll talk more about it. Obviously, we get into some football discussion as the week goes along. I think one of the questions I would have for you, and we'll get into a little bit tomorrow, is the how Dow Loggins' run game might be a little different than Marcus Satterfield's compared to what we saw. Remember I think it was under Muschamp, the key words, the pin and pull. Like, I don't know, look, Lou Holtz was a running guy. He brought in obviously Derek Watson, Andrew Pinnock, at the end, Demetrius Summers, Corey Boyd was in there, Ryan Brewer. The schemes and what it's exactly called, because, like, do you see more of the pin and pull, which needs athletic offensive linemen? You need guys who can get out and run.
I think what I'm going to have to do is call my guy Nashawn Goddard in here, and we're just going to do a daily segment of breaking down what these run play calls are called, because every now and then something gets popular. It's like the pin and pull. Oh, we need to run the G scheme, or we need to, and most of us don't know what we're talking about. So I think we're going to have to get a true O-line guy in here to break this down.
Let's do that. And also, now that you bring that up, our buddy, Langston Moore, I got to write this down for tomorrow. I guess maybe the best, number one, I want to go back to some of the stories that you might have had as it pertains to guys who maybe didn't make conditioning time, but then went and played full court basketball. There's a good Twitter thread started by Langston Moore. Preston, it's good to be back.
Good to be back, man.
Good. Tyler,
what's
hold
up?
it down. Tyler, I see Colin in another old man hat out there. They're up next. It's the early game. You have a great day.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Tony Annan, head men's soccer coach at the University of South Carolina. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Can you imagine being a superhero with a sidekick?
All right, everybody. Thank you. It was good to be back.
The Black All-Stars.
Y'all take care. Have a great day. Oh, man.